beat us.
We're gonna come in on fucker right in the pussy. Hello everyone, I am Zazubaar, and welcome to the 34th episode of the Sons of Serizawa.
You almost said Demons from Outer Space.
I did almost say Demons from Outer Space. Of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. Joining me as always, David Joshua Hernandez, aka Gorzard.
So Bill, I read your autobiography. It was really, really good.
Oh, you read my autobiography called Point Break?
No, it was called The Hobbit, no?
What?
David, shut the fuck up!
Bill's not even
You're back after a month hiatus and you're like, Bill's autobiography's called The fucking Hobbit.
I thought that was Kim Kardashian's autobiography.
Oh, I thought it was Snooki's. Man, we were all fucked up then.
Snooki's makes more sense than anything anybody else just said. Speaking of that, joining me also as always, Adam Noyce.
I'm fucking Kim Kardashian now.
Yes, you remind me so much of Kim Kardashian.
Hello, insects of YouTube. It is Adam Noyce from Adam Noyce because Adam Noyce is Adam Noyce from Adam Noyce.
And does what Adam Noyce wants. Also joining me, Dylan McCandless, a.k.a. Super DM64.
Hello, YouTube, and I have nothing that clever to say.
And fuck her right in the pussy.
Fuck her right in the pussy!
Do that, yes.
And also joining me as always, Andres Perez, a.k.a. Kaiju Noir.
Well, considering I'm a man of consistency, rocket punch, motherfuckers.
That's what we appreciate about you, Andres.
I love how innocent Andre sounds whenever he says motherfucker. He's like, motherfuckers.
No, you should.
He's like, isn't it cool, guys, that I'm using the word motherfucker?
No, you should hear him.
Hey, one time I said rocket punch, airhead.
Whoa, shit! Everybody back up.
Got a badass
It's
over
weird.
here.
It's weird because he does sound so innocent when he like cusses on recording, but you should hear him do it in real life. Me and Bill were freaked out.
No, he was like cursing like a sailor.
He's not the innocent Mexican child we thought he was.
No, in real life, he's a fucking hate tank. He's just like, look at all these fucking idiots on the road. He's just sipping vodka out of a flask.
Go back.
That was me
George
yesterday.
Go back to fucking Jersey, you fucking skanks.
Like I turned into David in real life.
He literally took candy from a baby, and it was fucked up. He just went up to that kid and just ripped like a fucking Baby Ruth out of its hand. I don't know why the baby was eating Baby Ruth.
And it's like, whoa, you know, I've taken candy from a baby many a time, but when you see somebody else do it, it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like, then you realize it's really, really fucked up. It's like at the end of Return of the Jedi, where Darth Vader was watching the Emperor kill his son, and he was just like, yo, this shit's fucked up. And he was like, fuck this! That's exactly what was going on at the end of Return of the Jedi.
No, obviously all he was thinking of was, no.
No, don't do it, Emperor. No.
No, please stop. Don't come back.
That's how David Prowse was saying it on set. He was like, no.
Eat your pussy.
No, he would sound more like this. And George Lucas was like, that's good, everybody.
And that's why they got
He
James
didn't
Earl
direct
Jones.
it.
No, I know. I know he didn't, but I
Idiot. How dare you not know that this
I couldn't
random
think
guy
of
who's
the guy's
never directed
name, though.
anything else in his life directed it? How dare you?
No, I just rewatched Return of the Jedi today, too. I can't remember the fucker's name.
It's something weird, and he hasn't really directed anything else.
You don't even know it either.
No, he doesn't need
Yeah!
it.
He doesn't need to be identified. Fuck those Ewok pussies.
I'm just glad I have a Clockwork Orange to let me know what the real Vader's voice would have sounded like if they hadn't had James Earl Jones.
Is David Prowse in that?
He is. He's the guy near the end that picks up Malcolm McDowell and carries him around like a baby.
Oh, okay. Well, interesting thing about Star Wars is I rewatched all the original trilogy this week after getting the theatrical versions as a birthday present from my good friend Jake Mangan, who I know isn't listening, so no one will appreciate that shout out.
Shout out.
my thought process was, it takes them like at least 30 seconds to credit all the people who played Darth Vader. Because it's like played by, especially in Return of the Jedi, because it's like played by David Prowse, voiced by James Earl Jones, and also played by that other guy whose name escapes me at the moment.
Oh, yeah, because there's like 3 different people that played Vader in that movie. There's David Prowse who did it inside the suit, and then there was the Anakin Skywalker when he took the face mask off. And then James Earl Jones who did his voice.
And then Christian Haydenson as a Force Ghost.
Damn it, Andre.
Fuck off.
You say Christian Haydenson?
Wait, interesting question. Does anybody know if Hayden Christensen actually played Darth Vader in the suit at the end of Revenge of the Sith, or was that somebody else?
I'm pretty sure that was him, the actor, because I remember seeing like behind-the-scenes footage before the movie came out.
And everybody was clapping.
Yeah. Darth Vader was CG, yes.
CGI he was completely rendered as a CG image.
I have a question to ask all of you. Speaking of Star Wars, I have a question to ask all of you. Yeah. As you all know, or as I kind of posted on Facebook, people who follow me on Facebook, that I recently, as well as Bill, I recently watched the prequels. I rewatched the prequels, seeing if there was something I could get out of these that I liked. You know?
Yet you still won't watch the series.
One gun in the mouth later.
One gun in the mouth later, I finished the prequels. And I have a question. Do you guys think that Palpatine actually cared for Anakin Skywalker, or do you think he was just using him as a pawn in his game of chess?
My whole thing about Palpatine is I think that what he wants more than anything else is an heir to sort of the Sith legacy which he carries on. You know, he had he had other apprentices, you know, he had Maul and he had Count Dooku, but they were just sort of pawns in his greater game, whereas Anakin, you know, he's the chosen one. He had the potential to be like the greatest Sith ever.
You are the chosen one!
He had like the potential
I hate you!
He had the potential to be like the most powerful Sith like ever, so I think Palpatine sort of saw him as like the rightful heir. Of course, then he got burned alive and became more machine than man, and his powers were forever limited, which is why later on he set his sights on Luke. But to answer your question,
and also technically does bring balance to the Force at the end.
Yes. So to answer your question, I think he cares for him in that way, in that he wants an heir for the legacy of the Sith, and he sees Anakin, at least at that moment, as the rightful heir. To bounce off of Dylan's point, as somebody who just rewatched the original trilogy, I don't think that he cares who ends up carrying on his legacy, because he is so quick to be like, to try and make Luke betray his father and murder him so that way he can take on his legacy. Well, yeah, you see in the
I don't think he... Yeah. And it just really plays like he's using everybody as a pawn.
Palpatine being my favorite part of Episode 3. It's one of the few things that I think they get right in the entirety of the prequels, like ever.
He's played very well.
He obviously cares about Anakin at that point. Like I was saying, I think he sees him as his rightful heir. I think he's got like an almost pseudo father-son relationship going on with him. But by the time you get to the original trilogy, they've pretty much reverted to the same relationship he had with like Dooku and Maul. It's like, I am the master, you are my enforcer, and you will do as I tell you.
But do you think he even cared about Anakin personally at that point? Because I don't think he did.
I honestly think, well, in terms of the original trilogy or in the prequels, Bill?
I think we're talking about the prequels now.
Okay, because I honestly think he did, because I actually am pretty adamant now on the same level that Dylan is. I actually agree with Dylan on his opinion, and stuff like that. And you know, like, after rewatching them, I admitted saying these have smart ideas. They do. They have a lot of smart ideas, but they are horribly written, horribly acted. And I feel really bad for Hayden Christensen because his acting in the movie is really good, but his dialogue is terrible.
I think he gets I think he unfairly gets a lot of the blame for why those movies are so hated.
It's kind of like Liam Neeson or Natalie Portman. You know, you have these actors and actresses who can do good work, and then they're in this movie, and it's like, oh god.
But it's also like, somebody said something, I can't remember who said it. Somebody was like, more often than not, if you see a bad performance on screen, it's probably because there's a not so great director behind the camera.
who didn't think to say, hey, can you do that a little differently to make it work better?
I mean, do I think that George Lucas was a little bit washed up by the time he got around to doing these? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm also going to say this, and this may be somewhat controversial. And I'm not saying I hate this movie because of it. I still think it's amazing. The original Star Wars, Episode 4, A New Hope, the only of the original trilogy to be directed by George Lucas, is not the most well-acted science fiction film I've ever seen. Because it's very clear that not everybody is sure whether or not they should be taking their dialogue seriously. Now, part of that was
the problem on the set and everything. Like, if you know the behind the scenes, you'll understand that. Like, Alec Guinness thought that this was going to be the stupidest movie ever made.
He still thought that after he made the movie.
Part of that comes from the fact that nothing really like the movie had been made before.
Absolutely.
And even back then, it was only like made for like it was kind of like what was it called, like Buck Rogers or Flash, like Flash Gordon.
Exactly. Like the closest thing we had at this time in terms of like space opera kind of stuff really was Star Trek, and that ended in '71. And so there was like 5 years in between there that like nothing happened, and then Star Wars came out, and it was a huge boom. And of course that brought back pretty much everything else. But
definitely.
But I think to go back to Adam's original question, I think that's the whole point of the scene in the Opera House where he's telling Anakin the story of Darth Plagueis, his former master, is that I always got the sense from the Emperor that his whole thing, his entire motivation is about carrying on the legacy of the Sith, and not only conquering the universe in the name of the Sith, but also to ensure that somebody will be there to take his place and continue to run the universe in the name of the Sith after he dies. And of course, at first,
exactly. And I got that same feeling. And it is really unfortunate that the movie that did the best, and I think is overall the best out of the prequels, was the one that George Lucas was least involved with, and that was Episode 3. George Lucas was less involved with that than he was in Episode 1 and especially Episode 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You know my biggest problem with
agree.
the third episode?
What?
My biggest problem with the third episode, General Grievous is a real letdown.
Oh,
and he's completely useless in the movie. He does nothing.
Yeah.
I remember leading up to the movie, they released the information about this character, and he seemed so cool, and he had that awesome appearance in the Genndy Tartakovsky cartoon, which was amazing, because the Genndy Tartakovsky
cartoon is so good, yeah.
I mean, I have it on DVD, and it's fucking awesome. But then he shows up in the movies.
Yeah.
He shows up in the movie, and he's so useless.
And like, is he supposed to know if like the Emperor
really
and Palpatine are the same person? Because if so, that really complicates the plan by a whole lot.
The whole reason for General Grievous to even be in the movie plot-wise, if you really look at it, is just to give Obi-Wan something to do and be off-planet when all the Order 66 shit goes down. But they could have done anything.
Okay, all right, Dylan. Here's I'm actually going to defend that. Granted, I agree with you about General Grievous, and everyone says, "Oh, but he has such a great thing in the extended universe." It's like, then that's not the point. That's not the point. But
again,
anyways,
really
back
cool
to what I'm going to say.
Cartoon.
Back what I'm going to say. Dylan, I actually like the fact that he's the reason why, like Obi-Wan has to go away, and I actually thought that to be smart because that gave Palpatine the advantage with Anakin that he got, because Anakin was in this emotional distraught state at the time, very confused and shit like that, and wanting Anakin, and he only had one other person he could really trust, and that other person was Obi-Wan, and he could also trust Palpatine, and the fact that Obi-Wan was gone, so was Padme, and so on and so forth, that only left Palpatine, and Palpatine was able to, do something that neither Obi-Wan or Palpatine really could do, and that was Palpatine acted, and I actually think he really did, gave a fuck about Anakin's opinion.
But here's the thing. Don't you think it would be so much better if they had let Count Dooku live longer and have him be the thing that Obi-Wan goes off to fight on the other planet, instead of introducing this new disappointing villain?
To that point,
The only reason Anakin gets to kill Count Dooku is it's supposed to be this big thing like, oh, he's turning to the dark side. You don't need that. He already massacred the Tusken Raiders in the previous movie.
Well, hang on. Let me ask you guys a question that I don't remember because I haven't watched Revenge of the Sith in a couple of years. Wasn't the whole point of Palpatine faking getting kidnapped was to set up Anakin into a place where he would kill Count Dooku? Or am I not remembering that correctly?
If so, that's, again, an overly complicated way just to...
It is an overly...
Well, no, it isn't.
But there's no way he could have known... Yeah. There's no way he could have known that would have worked out that way, though. I mean, I know.
No, I agree, but I don't know if I'm not remembering it correctly. Yeah.
I know they have force powers and they can sort of peer into the future, not like see specifics, like get an idea of what's going to happen. But
and another thing that I also like about Palpatine is that the scene where Samuel L. Jackson comes in and he's going to supposedly place Palpatine under arrest and so on and so forth. I love how Palpatine holds back because clearly Palpatine can squash Samuel L. Jackson like a fucking bug.
Right, but the point is he wants Anakin to do it.
Yeah, he wants Anakin to do it, and I personally found that really genius.
That's
that's the one thing I will defend the prequels with, and that is I think Palpatine is so well done in the prequels, it's not even funny.
Now, I have a question
from the first movie on, and the Emperor was always my favorite villain from Star Wars. When everybody else was geeking out over Darth Vader, I was like, dude, the fucking Emperor.
But he has having just rewatched the original trilogy. He barely has any screen time until Return of the Jedi. So, that's kind of why everybody usually gravitates towards Vader. Is he has no scenes in New Hope.
Vader is in my opinion one of the greatest villains out there. However,
absolutely,
what I like about the Emperor, especially Episode 5 and 6. Episode 5 and 6, he's talked about a shit ton before we finally see him. And
he's got an amazing build up.
Yeah,
I have an affinity towards all-powerful, pure evil villains, like Aku or the Emperor, and like...
Yeah. His introduction in Return of the Jedi is amazing, because you've got the shuttle coming down, and you've got every single Imperial force on that ship lined up around it with a little aisle in between. Then his Imperial Guard step out. Then a couple stormtroopers come out. Then an admiral comes out.
Oh, you're talking about Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi.
I thought when you said his introduction, when you said his introduction, I thought you were talking about Empire Strikes Back when you had the little hologram scene. That is actually the scene you're now describing is my favorite Emperor scene ever. I especially love the line, "Everything is proceeding as I had foreseen."
Yeah, but I mean the thing about Empire Strikes Back is that it's really, really short, and you barely see him. So I think that Return of the Jedi has the better Emperor intro of the saga.
Well, an interesting thing is that George Lucas actually, when making the first Star Wars movie, he actually wrote out this entire thing. He wrote out the entire trilogy. But he said, let me break it into 3, and let me just make this first one and see if that's a success, and then we can make the 2 others. And I think that's a genius way to go, because that made the entire thing work. Like, even when he was making the first one, A New Hope, even though it wasn't called A New Hope then, he knew that Darth Vader was Luke's father. That's why they called him Vader.
I love how he didn't tell the actors, though, until they were filming it, and they were like, what?
Yeah.
And that was another thing, is in that I love the scene, the hologram scene with Darth Vader and the Emperor. I love it how he's talking about Luke, and at this point we don't know, Vader's talking about Luke in a very almost positive manner. And you don't know at this point that he's Luke's dad. And then all of a sudden you see how, and you're almost wondering, like, why is he talking this way about Luke Skywalker? And then all of a sudden you find that it is his father. You're like, oh, that makes sense now.
His obsession with him makes a lot more sense once you know that. But I think in the same way, it's not like you're confused the whole movie. Like, why is Darth Vader acting this way? He still plays it as being like, just because the Emperor wants it that way. So, I mean, Darth Vader is so amazing in those movies. It's insane.
He really is my favorite character in the entire series.
Especially when James Earl Jones is the only one who's voicing him.
I did have a question about the Emperor that goes back to Episode 3. Back in that scene where he's talking to when Emperor Palpatine was talking to Anakin, and he mentioned his old master, what was it, Darth Plagueis? Yeah.
Plagueis, yeah.
Plagueis. And he mentioned how Darth Plagueis had the ability to create life and even stop people from dying. Do you think it's possible that he taught Palpatine how to create life and in a way caused Anakin's immaculated birth?
You know, it's interesting because...
Whoa, you just blew my fucking mind. I didn't even know that was a theory.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, Andres. It's interesting that you mentioned that, Andres, because in the expanded universe shit, which it's kind of sad. Ever since Disney bought Star Wars, all the good expanded universe shit is now thrown out the window.
We have to wait until Force Awakens.
No. It's been confirmed, Bill.
That the expanded universe is gone. It's completely.
I wonder if they're at least going to keep like the basic stuff, like Han and Luke, Han and Luke having 3 children, and then like.
They might recycle some plot elements or something, but the expanded universe as it used to stand is completely gone. I guess you can see it as like an alternate continuity or something.
Yeah,
but
like the games that BioWare created, like those are not canon anymore. They were canon, now they're not.
Knights of the Old Republic and the Old Republic?
Yeah, those.
There was this thing in the expanded universe in the comics that we're supposed to follow up on episode 6 where Palpatine kept trying to come back from the grave and like
right
in like clone bodies, and at one point he even tried to take over the body of, I think it was Han and Leia's baby. So I mean, if it's very possible based on that, and again I know all that shit's been thrown out the window, that he did receive some instruction from Darth Plagueis on those matters. I really want a Solo like movie giving me a backstory about Palpatine because he's so fucking mysterious.
I agree.
You've got this fucking diplomat from Naboo who turns out to be the most evil person in the entire galaxy. Like, give me some context.
Well, it's so funny because my inspiration whenever I make my videos and stuff like that, his name's Arshian Gaia, and he actually is the one that made me watch the original trilogy again, because he's basically doing a review of all the movies and like these giant long ass videos that I swear are longer than the movies, so you know where I get it from. And he was commenting how he said he always felt like the trilogy should have focused solely on Anakin Skywalker. And I laughed because I said I wanted the prequels to focus on fucking Palpatine.
Yeah, I mean his stuff is the best stuff in there.
Absolutely.
Especially in that third movie. The guy who plays him, I'm so sad that I can't remember his name because he's a really fantastic actor.
Not that Obi-Wan being the primary point of view is terrible. I think that Ewan McGregor is decent in the role, and I do like the character.
I buy him as a young Alec Guinness, which is the important thing.
The issue is that he's kind of the least interesting character, though, because of course it's interesting to see how he got to the place he is in A New Hope as this old hermit living on Tatooine. But in terms of his own, personal conflicts and the development going on during the Clone Wars, it's kind of like we could be following somebody more interesting.
For me, the most boring character in the prequels was that bounty hunter.
Oh,
Jango Fett?
Jango Fett, or the other guy?
I was like,
okay,
I thought
really? I loved Jango Fett.
I thought you were talking about that other bounty hunter assassin that Jango Fett killed.
Why couldn't we get
Attack of the Clones?
Yeah.
Why couldn't we ever get Dirge in a movie? That guy was awesome.
It's strange. I was Jango Fett once for Halloween.
Dude, so was I.
And I fucking loved him. And I was really young when Attack of the Clones came out, so I didn't even know that he was like basically just like a placeholder for his son, who was the badass everybody loved from the original trilogy. Because I hadn't seen the original trilogy at that point.
Oh man,
I had a huge fucking hard on for Jango Fett. I remember whenever we would like play Star Wars, me and my friends, I would be like, "I'm Jango Fett," and he's like, and everybody would be like, "All right, that's fine. We're all gonna be Jedi and just cut your fucking head off." And I'm like, "Wait a minute now."
See, whenever we played Star Wars at my local playground, I always wore a hoodie and pretended to electrocute people.
Electric spam.
Magic.
Everybody's like, "Dylan, why are you using jazz hands?" And it's like, "No, haven't you guys fucking seen Star Wars?"
And why do you keep talking it like this?
Of this fully operational battle station.
Take your father's place at my side.
This fully armed and Windows-compatible battle station.
I used to be able to do that voice a lot better when I was younger. It's one of the sad things about your balls dropping. But anyway.
So I guess that means that fucking what's his name? Ian McDermott?
I'm glad at least somebody else in this group other than me has reached puberty.
Is that the actor's name who played Palpatine? Ian McDermott?
I wish I could remember his name
Ian
because
McDermott.
I love him
Yes,
so much.
it is. It's Ian.
You know, actually,
So I guess his balls didn't drop, according to Dylan.
no, it just means that his voice is now a lot deeper than it was when his balls had dropped. It's all relative.
Mickey Mouse is the Emperor in Star Wars Episode 7.
I mean, he kind of
when he threw me down the shaft, did you?
he kind of is.
I remember this fucking kid. I remember this fucking kid at this school at Five Towns who is a huge Star Wars fanatic. And I won't.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
He saw this fake fucking thing and thought it was real. And he got so fucking pissed off thinking that they were going to make a species of alien in the new Star Wars movie that resembles Mickey Mouse. And he thought it was... And I was like, this fucking kid was stupid enough to think it was real, right? And
I mean, we already have confirmation.
He fucking was freaking out and all this shit. And I looked at him, and I said, dude, the trailer hasn't even fucking come out yet. That's a joke. He still didn't believe me. And I said, the trailer hasn't come out. Wait until you see the trailer. And so I come back in, waddling into fucking the Upbeat Cafe, and there he is screaming and fucking yelling about how awesome the trailer is. And I'm like, you're such a fucking tool.
Now Adam didn't
You
should have done right after he'd broken a window.
Oh my god, yeah.
You should have said. You just should have.
That was a joke that only Adam's gonna get, by the way.
Just like point at him and go, nerd.
Well, I can't get away with that because I talk about Godzilla and Star Trek.
I know
which
that's
makes me.
That's why it's ironic.
Yeah.
Well,
you
here's
just gotta,
the thing, like,
you just gotta make that noise from
here's
Invasion
the
of the
thing.
Body Snatchers.
He tries to be like a geek, but it's like you're just one of those annoying Star Wars people.
You mean fanboy?
One of those people.
Is he one of those anti-Star Trek Star Wars people?
Yes, he is very much one of those anti-Star Trek Star Wars people. Yeah,
the war is real.
He hates Star Trek, and I'm like, dude, I totally admit that I would choose Star Trek over Star Wars all the time, but I don't hate Star Wars.
But you're not a real fan, yeah.
Can't we all just agree to get along and hate Battlestar Galactica together?
Yeah! I can't do that, Dylan. I can't because I like Battlestar Galactica too.
Okay, well then let's find something. What about Stargate? Can we all just hate Stargate?
Stargazer.
No. Let's ban together.
No, we'll hate Star Odyssey.
Twilight. Let's hate Twilight. We can all get behind that shit. No one in their right mind likes fucking Twilight.
Let's just.
I saw an
find
internet
cause
meme
that
once.
we can
I
all
was
get
just
together.
like,
Let's just
it was a Star Trek fan and a Star Wars fan. The first one was like, I'm hating Star Trek. He was a Star Wars fan, I'm hating Star Trek. Second one, Star Wars fan, I'm hating Star Wars, Star Trek. And then the third one was, I'm just sitting here being a Whovian. I was dying. Because at that point, I was like, whenever somebody would ask me, you Star Trek or Star Wars, I'm like, Doctor Who.
We just all need to find a cause that we can unite about. You know, let's just all get together and make bullying kill itself. No,
Let's all band together and make George Lucas give us actual copies of the despecialized editions.
Well, he doesn't have those anymore. It's now Disney who's in charge of that.
Here's the thing. I was watching this video on the making of the despecialized editions, which are fan edits, and how they did it is how the special editions should have been fucking made. And I'm like, this is really cool. Why couldn't we get this?
if you want to know how the special edition should have been made, go watch the final cut of Blade Runner. That's how you get that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's an interesting legal thing that I just learned about the other day, because I had the same thought. It's like, when is Disney going to re-release the theatrical versions? And they're not allowed to yet.
Oh.
Technically, all the home video rights to all 6 Star Wars movies still belong to 20th Century Fox. I think until 2020.
Now, to quote borrow a joke from Jacob Baker, Lucas!
It's true, though. Well, it's not really his fault. It's more of 20th Century Fox put out those movies, and they still have the home video rights. So, everybody, mark it on your calendars. After 2020, we may finally see a Blu-ray or whatever comes after that release of the original Star Wars trilogy.
Does that mean I should just man up and get those Blu-rays that are available now?
Well, fuck that shit. I have them illegal. So.
Yeah, I gave those to Kyle the other day. He said, Adam, I love hate you. And I'm like, you're welcome, because I just got all the unspecialized editions.
So where'd you get those?
Oh, I remember, that was fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm. What?
Where'd you get those? Like a bootleg website?
Jake.
Another shout out for Jake Mangan, who's not listening.
Here's a question for you.
I have a folder. I have a folder in my videos that like lists all the stuff. Like I have one for kaiju movies, and in there I split it up. I have one here, and the folder literally is called The Good Star Wars. And it's all of it.
Here's a question for you who have seen the despecialized version. Is there anything in the special editions that you think George Lucas actually did right?
Here's one of them. There's one shot during the final battles where you see all the X-Wing fighters taking off.
Mm-hmm.
That's gone. There isn't, that shot's there, but there's nothing happening in the shot because they didn't have time to render the things in there, or the ships in there. And what the 90s version did is added in a bunch of the X-Wings taking off and stuff like that. And I thought that
are you talking about A New Hope?
Yes.
See,
there's a bunch of like little sparkles going up into the air, and we're supposed to assume those are the X-Wings.
Yeah, that's what's happening. I'm pulling it up now. The other thing that I actually didn't hate the special editions for doing is on episode 5 they replaced the original Emperor with Ewan McDermott to make it fit with the next movie, to make it fit. And I'm like, okay, that made sense.
See, changes like that, I never really minded all that. Changes like that, I never really minded all that much. Like, I don't care if you update special effects or do things like that. But, like, when you do something that alters the story.
Oh, God.
Well, the only other one that I thought was a good move was the original lightsaber effect in the first movie. I think in Empire...
It would look like a flat cardboard image.
It's not even the actual light itself that looks weird. It's just that he takes out the lightsaber, and then for a split second, hey, what's that stick doing there? So that's the only other thing that I think... Well, the other problem with the original lightsaber when it first pops up is that it looks nothing like what Obi-Wan uses later. It looks like this big, like, orb of light, and it doesn't really look like cylindrical enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then later on when Obi-Wan fights Darth Vader, it looks more like what you see in the next two movies. So, I don't know what happened.
It still looks pretty bad. I mean, I'm watching
it but it looks better. And that first lightsaber duel is very, very, very experimental.
Well, it makes sense. And, you know...
Yeah, totally.
Let's see,
and I would still fuck Harrison Ford, by the way.
There was another change that I didn't mind, and that is when Luke chops off Vader's hand in the regular versions, in the regular cuts. What happens is, in the specialized editions, Lucas added sparks and some smoke coming out of the hand when it got chopped off, and I'm like, that makes sense because it's a mechanical hand and there'd be broken wires and sparks everywhere. However, in the other one, it's just kind of like blah. It's like,
yeah, you just see the wires.
Yeah.
But one thing that I just noticed, having just rewatched Return of the Jedi, that I think really helps that scene, is I forgot that they did this thing where after Luke cuts off Darth Vader's hand, he stops for a minute, looks at his mechanical hand, looks back to Vader's, back to his, and just kind of breathes out, and then right after that, he throws down his lightsaber. And I was like, that's good shit. That's really, really good character stuff.
But, like, here's the thing that bugs me about the specialized editions. Watching them side by side is actually interesting. It's like a lot of the shots of, like, the X-Wings in space and stuff like that, they replaced with this CG shit. And I'm like, the models looked great. Like, they legitimately look great. Why did you replace them? Let's see. During the final battle on A New Hope, in the original cut, it is 2 shots of the X-Wings flying towards the Death Star before, you know, they said, all right, all wings check in, Red 3 standing by, that whole thing. In the original cut, it's 2 shots. We have one of them flying towards the camera and then one of them going away. In the specialized edition, they made it one fluid shot. Which granted, that is what George Lucas originally wanted according to the storyboards of the movie. But it looked fine just the way it was. Why the fuck did you fucking do that?
Because this was during the 90s where CGI, everybody considered CGI to be the best thing ever, even if it was like Anaconda quality.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, at least Anaconda used a mostly practical snake. But they tried to go the whole Jurassic Park route with it, and it sometimes works, other times not so much.
I just realized, yeah, the theatrical cut of A New Hope also doesn't have that scene where Han goes up and talks to Jabba. First off, that original scene, Jabba wasn't in it, period. It was actually an agent for Jabba.
Yeah.
Which I thought the scene would have been just... That scene would have been just fine if they just left Jabba not in it, but no.
Yes. But that's the other thing. It's like, I really like that in the original trilogy, you don't see Jabba until the third movie.
Until the third movie. And he's great in the third movie.
Interestingly enough, kind of like the Emperor's entrance, his first appearance is amazing. He is terrifying and disgusting and really imposing. So, I think that adding that scene in A New Hope, where he looks like shit and he has no real grand entrance, it's like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so pointless.
I do kind of like the moment where Han Solo steps on his tail, though. I don't know why. I think it's just nostalgia. I just like that one.
Well, no, that is a good genuine. I think that was a good moment for. But you see, that was a good moment for Hans. But like in the other version, it's like he steps on his foot or something.
Yeah.
It's like, and that still would have been the same, even if
it really doesn't add anything to that scene, to just CGI Jabba over the guy. The only other issue with the version of A New Hope that I watched, and Adam, you probably have this too since we both got it from Jake, no subtitles on Greedo. That's a little bit of a problem.
However, to me, it was totally worth it because fucking Hans shoots first.
Guess who shot first?
I am the one who shoots first.
Yeah, indeed,
I am the darkness.
Based on a recent joke from DFLS.
But since we're on Star Wars anyway, and I know we've each talked about the Force Awakens trailer on the other two spin-off shows, but let's talk about it briefly all together.
Okay.
Force Awakens trailers, anything else, anything you guys want to say as we're all together here?
Andres,
David, he needs to say something because he hasn't had a chance to say it on any podcast.
Oh, perfect. David, what were your thoughts on the Force Awakens trailer?
First of all, let me say, how dare any of you have opinions? I've been sitting here for like 20 minutes completely silent.
Well, go ahead, share. You could
I know.
Like, I fucking hate Star Wars. Fucking bullshit. Fucking fake shit.
Remember we told you whenever you wanted to just jump in, just do your battle cry and go, hey!
Oh, ever since I got fired, I've been kind of like lowering things down a bit in terms of this crazy lifestyle.
I thought you said you quit.
Crazy
wait,
lifestyle.
That's the story I tell people.
Wait, you lost your job again?
No. Wait, what?
Are you still working at McDonald's?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but last McDonald's said he...
Oh, the last time. Okay, I thought you quit. I thought you got fired again, and I was like, really, dude?
No.
Maybe it's time to go to a different place.
No.
Yeah, like a Burger King.
Short story. Short. Okay. I worked at 3 McDonald's. The first one I got fired. The second one I quit. And I am currently, still employed at this third one.
In the
Caesar's Palace one?
Monte Carlo.
Is that James Spader?
The Caesar's Palace McDonald's.
They don't
like
everyone is required at that McDonald's is required to wear a toga.
Everybody wears a toga.
They don't have a McDonald's in Caesar's Palace.
That would be weird if they did. Monte Carlo makes a little bit of sense because it's kind of like an international flair, but fucking Caesar's Palace.
If you guys ever do come to Vegas, don't be surprised to see like a shit ton of McDonald's chains all over the strip. There's literally one like every 5 minutes.
I just remember.
Oh yeah, I was there. I went there when I was 11, and there were McDonald's everywhere. I also was propositioned by 11 prostitutes as an 11-year-old boy.
Were you given those like little strips of paper that had like those call girl numbers on them?
Oh, they weren't strips of paper. They were flyers. They were huge.
Nowadays, it's just those little strips of paper that I think some people I see would like collect them like trading cards or something. I'm like, God damn it.
Well, David, let me see if this name rings a bell for you. We stayed at the Circus Hotel. Does that ring a bell?
Ooh, I've been there before. Yeah,
and I remember my biggest impression of it was, holy shit, it's like a fucking mall in here. There's a fucking amusement park inside the hotel.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Wait, are you talking about the Adventure Dome, or are you talking about the...
Yeah, it's the
fucking arcade?
Yeah, it's the Adventure
Dome. That's the amusement park. It's just the arcade.
You know, it's like the little, like, smaller version of, like, a roller coaster in that, like,
yeah.
ride.
I didn't go into it, and also, again, this was almost 10 years ago now, so maybe I'm exaggerating it in my mind's eye, but I remember looking at it and go, how is that scientifically possible? For that they put an amusement park inside. I'm sure if I went to it like nowadays with my adult perspective, I'd be like, wow, this is really fucking stupid.
That's gonna be amazing if like all of us just go to Vegas and instead of doing all like the typical Vegas stuff, we just go to Circus.
Yeah, it's like, we don't get stickers, we don't fucking do drugs. Oh no, actually, don't they have a really strict drug policy in Vegas?
I have no fucking idea.
I'm just asking because I remember hearing once where it's like they allow everything except drug use.
I thought that's where
like
everybody went to do the drugs.
Well, but it's like they're really lenient on prostitution, obviously, and everything else. But then it's like, Bill,
how do you get away with prostitution in Vegas? I mean, how are the logistics?
I think it's just straight up legal, isn't it?
Well, here's the thing: you got to read the bottom line. These certain things are illegal only if you don't get caught.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Wait, they're illegal if you don't get caught?
No.
I've seen like some prostitutes here and there.
That's what a cop told him while he was balls deep.
Oh, fuck you, Bill.
May I just take this quick moment and say something?
Sure.
Admiral Akbar is a complete and total badass.
I love him so much. It's a trap.
I love him so much. It's a trap!
Which he said while he was balls deep.
The prequel should have been about him.
Yeah.
I want to know that guy's story.
Peter Cushing got his own novel. I want Admiral Akbar to get his own novel.
Yeah, give me a movie. Just call it Akbar.
Akbar. It's not a trap.
No, tagline. It's a trap. Again.
Akbar dies in Return of the Jedi, doesn't he?
No.
Oh, man.
No, he does? I just rewatched it today. I don't even remember. David, you were telling a story, weren't you?
Actually, you asked me about the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
No, but weren't you in the middle of telling a story, though?
No.
He was talking about how he quit, he got fired from his last job.
I said short story short.
Oh, okay. So, David, what were your opinions on The Force Awakens?
I had words cannot describe. Well, but in a positive way, though. In a positive way.
I thought he was about to say, I have no opinion.
I mean, like, well, it's very hard to say anything about a trailer that's like 88 seconds long and only like bits and pieces of it. But you know, the one thing that of course, really captured me was the Black Stormtrooper. No, I'm just kidding.
That was the only thing.
Right.
Look at that motherfucker.
It's that lightsaber, the new lightsaber.
Yeah,
he's giving that shit.
Oh, yeah?
People need to get that.
What is everybody's thoughts on the lightsaber hilt? Because everybody seems to have a different take on it.
I'm fine. I personally like Stephen Colbert's opinion of it.
Yeah, same here.
What did you say? I read this, and I forget what he said, though. What did he say?
That all three lightsaber beams it's all from one, they all stem from one source. So even if you cut through that little metal part on the sides, you still hit the beam there.
Well,
I see, okay.
Well, according to the expanded universe, which again may or may not is not in continuity, but bits of it maybe. We'll just see what happens. The lightsaber beam is projected by a crystal in the center of the hilt. So yeah, I would assume that there would only be one crystal, right? They wouldn't have three crystals.
I had a book.
Mm-hmm.
I had a book when I was in... I had a book. I had a book when I was in second grade.
He had a book!
I had a book...
The motherfucker can read!
Only book I ever owned.
Shit. I
had a book when I was in second grade. Whenever Attack of the Clones came out, that was about the Jedi Knights. And it was just like about the history of it was a kid's book, so it wasn't really that in-depth. And it was just like the basic stuff, just as a big promotion for the movie. And they were talking about what a lightsaber is made out of. And I remember seeing those crystals, so you just took me back to my fucking childhood, man. I was like, oh yeah, I remember when...
That's a big part of the expanded universe shit, because they never explain it in the movies, but there's a crystal inside the lightsaber that produces the beam. I guess they run energy through it in some generic sci-fi sort of way. Kind of like...
For the complex sci-fi power of wires.
Lightsabers.
Well,
so I'm assuming they wouldn't have 3 crystals in there. Like, I think the Darth Maul lightsaber might have actually had 2 crystals, because that was 2 full, like, beams. But this is just 2 little projections on the side. I really don't think that they would need multiple...
well, what if the crystal was below that point, and it was just projecting the energy up and out?
Oh, no.
And then it could get kind of diverted. Why the fuck are we talking about this?
We should be talking about Ewoks.
We were talking about like our thoughts on the lightsaber and.
Oh, okay. Well, the only reason I ask is because it's like I think the reason why I think a lot of people were put off by it
because it's new and different. I don't like change.
I don't like.
There's something wrong with the lightsaber.
But I think part of the reason why so many people were distracted was because it's the only lightsaber in the trailer, and people were kind of like. I think some people thought, is every lightsaber going to look like that now? And which I obviously think is not the case.
Right.
But I think a lot of people were like, oh God, J.J. Abrams changed the lightsaber.
Remember when they revealed the two-headed... Remember when they revealed the two-headed Darth Maul lightsaber? Nobody had this adverse reaction. No, it was just like, that's fucking badass.
Like,
and that's...
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, definitely. So as long as it's like, as long as that's only Andy Serkis's lightsaber, then I think it's fine. I think it's cool.
What really confused me why everyone is so apparently, not everybody, but a good portion of people are upset over the black stormtrooper that John Boyega is portraying. Even though, like, apparently not many people know that the stormtroopers from the original trilogy were not clones.
Yeah, we talked about this on DFOS.
Not all clones.
Yeah,
right. Some were. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I guess the only reason why I knew this was because I read in one of those like. I'm sending you a link right now. Back in middle school, I found several.
What the fuck is links, Andres?
If you play through the story mode on Star Wars Battlefront 2, it pretty well explains that they started recruiting normal soldiers and integrating them with the clone ranks. But
I learned about that through like books like these.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars: The Essential. Go ahead.
Sorry. Have confirmation that his character is a stormtrooper if he's like borrowing stormtrooper armor Han Solo style. Like we don't.
Yeah. Jeremy Johns talked about that. How if you would have seen the original Star Wars trailer back in '77, what if you thought Luke Skywalker was a stormtrooper? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. And we don't. I kind of get that impression from it though because of the reaction on his face. He does not look like he knows where he is.
Well, that could also just mean though that he was a stormtrooper that like fell out of his plane.
No, clearly,
it's like, where the fuck am I?
You guys are clearly looking way too much into this. Clearly, this is the guy from Episode 4, where he says, these aren't the droids you're looking for. And you suddenly realize that, like, those were the droids I was looking for.
That was fucking hilarious. He's like, wait a minute, man. I think I was tricked 34 years ago.
He's like sweating bullets. He's like, oh God, I hope the Emperor doesn't kill me for this.
And he's like, wait a minute.
The Emperor's dead.
Or maybe he has brain damage because it turns out he's the stormtrooper that hit his head.
That dude! I was looking out for that shit. I couldn't find it.
You've never seen you can't see that?
No, I've seen it, but when I was rewatching A New Hope in the original theatrical version, I couldn't find that.
You can't look for it. You just gotta let it sneak up on you.
But maybe, for some reason, the impression I got out of that one shot, mind you, was that maybe his character is a stormtrooper who turns to the side of the light side of the Force.
I would like that.
Maybe, I don't know. That's kind of the. Sometimes I just get weird like vibes from single shots and trailers where it's like the whole movie is going to be about this one plot point from this one shot, and then I'm usually completely wrong. But sometimes I hit the mark on that. But that's kind of the impression I got from that one shot.
Mm-hmm. I just want to bring up, I remember like James Biggie on Facebook, he compared that little like, what do you call it, that little hovercraft sort of thing.
Yeah.
It looked like a, what do you call it, a double fudge-sicle.
Oh no! You mean the speeder?
Yeah, the speeder.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was funny. I saw that too.
Yeah.
Here's my thing, and I said this.
That's Han and Leia's kid on that bike.
I know they did have a dog. I think in the former expanded universe, they did have like a pair of twins, one of which was a girl.
And one of them was a Sith Lord too.
They had 3 kids. They had the twins, and then the baby that Palpatine tried to take over the body of.
Yeah, his name was Anakin Jr., I think, or they called him Anakin Solo. Yeah, his name was Anakin Solo.
And
probably not a smart idea.
Luke married this former Empire assassin named Mara. It was a big thing. But anyway,
do you think?
Do you guys think they're going to keep that Luke gets married despite the fact that he's a Jedi?
Oh, I'm definitely sure that they won't even bother with that rule because, hey, he's a Jedi, but it's not like Obi-Wan told him that they can't marry.
Well,
yeah, they never mentioned that in the original trilogy.
Well, the thing about again, this is going back to expanded universe shit that's probably not in continuity anymore anyway, is that after Episode 6, Luke pretty much winds up having to rebuild the Jedi Order, and that's no longer a rule, really, because he's married.
Yeah.
But also because it's like, hey, you guys know what basically destroyed the Jedi Knights? That's cool.
I think
they would have had more younglings if they had been producing their own.
I think Chewbacca. I think in the expanded universe, he had a son, and his son became part of the Jedi Academy along with the Solo twins. I would love to see I want to see a Jedi Wookiee.
Have we ever had no?
Chewbacca has an entire family. Haven't you seen the holiday special?
Remember Lumpy?
I want Jedi Master Lumpy.
Which, by the way, Adam, we were watching that last night. The Star Wars holiday special, the Rift Tracks version.
We were. Oh my god. And then we watched the amazingness of fucking Dragon Tales.
Then we watched Dragon Tales.
Andres, didn't Brad Jones review the holiday special? I know somebody did, but was it Brad Jones?
Nostalgia Critic. Nostalgia Critic.
Oh, it was Nostalgia Critic? Brad Jones.
By the way, Luke Skywalker looks like a diva in that fucking holiday special. He looks like he's got pounds of makeup on his face, and I have no idea why.
Is it after the wreck where he fucked up his face?
No, it takes place in between 5 and 6, doesn't it?
No, I'm saying he had a real-life wreck, and, his face got a little fucked up, and they had to,
Wait, no, that wouldn't make any sense, because fucking Han Solo would be in carbonite. So, when does the holiday special take place in the canon? What the fuck?
Is the holiday special in canon?
No, but I'm just saying that...
Well, this was during the George Lucas era where he's like, okay, everything is canon.
But wait a minute, when did that come out, though?
Even stuff I didn't write and probably never bothered to read.
I'm going to look this up, because I remember it... I thought when it came up, it said episode 5.5, but I was like, hey, what the fuck? Wait a minute. Isn't Han Solo supposed to be in carbonite?
This was released in November 1978.
All right, so it's in between 4 and 5. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
That makes perfect sense. All right, fine.
The only thing that makes sense in this thing.
The only thing that makes sense in it is when it takes place, and that is it. That's the only thing.
What's that stupid holiday called?
Life Day.
Oh yeah, Life Day.
What a generic fucking holiday. It's like, what are we celebrating today, boys?
Life.
So does Wookiee has Death Day? Is it like Day of the Dead?
No, they make a joke about that in the holiday special, not in the Rift Tracks. Where it's like, I don't remember what exactly, but it was like they made that joke, like, oh, what is the other one called? Death Day.
Yeah, where they worship Wookiee Anubis.
And fucking that animated short where Han Solo's eyes are like completely closed.
He's suffering from Brock's disease.
He's like, and this was before he was in carbonite, so he's not blind. That would have made sense if it was after. And it's so weird that that's the premiere of Boba Fett. And he became, this huge fan favorite, and that fucking short is horrible.
I wish we had more, I want to see more of those other bounty hunters that were there when Darth Vader was all no evaporation or disintegrations. There's some badass-looking motherfuckers.
One of them looks like the Gorn from Star Trek. It's really weird.
I've always wanted to see...
His name is Bosk. They all have names, and they all have stuff.
Yeah, I remember him. I've always wanted to see more of IG-88 because I've seen other expanded universe stuff with IG-88. I've seen many images of him, but when I first saw him in that character essential guide to Star Wars character, I was like, this guy was in the movies? How could I have not skipped over this skinny Terminator-looking dude?
Does Greedo have the Extended Universe stuff?
But Andres, you remember that awesome moment in the Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars cartoon when fucking Dirge had like an army of IG-88s and they were riding on like hover bikes with lances?
Yeah, I think so. And as for Greedo Expanded Universe, I don't know if you can count the Star Wars specials.
Yes.
See.
Again, this is the George Lucas era. It's all in canon.
It's all
even the things you would rather, even the things you would rather not have be in canon. Nah.
I wonder, like, if there was ever like any like Star Wars related material made for like, I guess like any Star Wars narratives. Oh, I guess there was. I was thinking like Star Wars narratives made for kids. And then I remember there were 2 animated movies, one of which I own, that were direct to video. I think it was called like Star Wars Droids and Star Wars Ewoks. And it was an animated movie that was completely, starring C-3PO and R2-D2 and their lives before Episode 4, I believe. And I don't remember a single plot element from it other than they used to work at a restaurant. And then like the cartoon Ewok movie, I think it was like in that commercial that I saw within that VHS. Apparently, the Ewoks, they could talk in this cartoon movie. Now I want to see what that was.
I've heard of these. I've never actually seen them myself. I don't think I want to either. But
I think I still may have that cartoon in my garage.
What cartoon are we talking about?
Star Wars Droids: The Adventures of R2-D2.
Oh, Jesus H. Tap Dancing Christ! That's right. I forgot about that show. I remember when I used to go to Hollywood Video when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 2 Star Wars animated VHS tapes.
Yeah.
There were Star Wars Droids, and then there was the Ewok Adventures.
Yeah.
I didn't rent either of those motherfuckers.
I believe I still own the VHS of Star Wars Droids.
However, I went to this thing called Scope when I was in 1st grade.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I think this is when Attack of the Clones came out, not 2nd grade.
Yeah.
And Star Wars was huge. Everybody was obsessed with Star Wars.
Uh-huh.
And in Scope, they used to play a movie. And we would watch things like VHS tapes of the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, anything. And we'd watch Star Wars as well. And one of the things we watched, I think, was Star Wars. It was either Droids or Ewoks. I don't remember. I think it might have been Ewoks.
Yeah.
Because I remember turning to somebody and going, why the fuck are we watching Care Bears?
Yeah, because they could talk and everything.
Yeah, and it was like, why are we watching? I guess they would have to talk, though, right? If they're going to do something that's just the Ewoks.
Unless they make like a Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, but for Ewoks.
But for children, like, Dawn isn't for kids. Like, it's like...
I was just about to say that, Andres. Do an entire Ewok movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yes.
We're one of the Ewoks.
Strong!
I would watch the fuck out of that. And then you have one asshole Ewok that tries to save a leader.
Yeah. Wicket want. I can't. All I remember is Wicket. I don't remember any of the other fucking Ewoks' names.
Love stormtroopers more
than Ewoks.
Stormtrooper work. Stormtrooper work.
By the way, just bought Dawn of the Planet of the Apes on Blu-ray. Best decision I made all week.
Wicked's like, just let the Imperials build their shield generator and then they'll leave.
By the way, speaking of a movie that gets better every time you watch it, that fucking movie. God, I love Dawn so much. One of the most, and I know we've done this before, but one of the most well-paced movies.
Really? When? I mean, it's not like
when was this, pray tell? It's not like I've seen this.
I know. When did we talk about how good Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was?
It's not like I saw this movie 3 different times in theaters in 3 different states or anything. I mean,
but oh yeah, that's right. You did do that. That's fucking hilarious. But the thing that struck me when I was watching it this week was, wow, this is probably the second most well-paced Apes movie right after the original. Because the original is one of the most well-paced movies ever made, in my opinion. And I think that this movie is really similar in how well constructed it is and how it transitions into the different, different subplots and moments and everything. Because, the original movie, it's like they're in the desert and it's kind of a survival movie. Then they come across the humans. Then it's Taylor silent fighting the apes. Then Taylor gets his voice back, and then it's the stuff in the Forbidden Zone. It's all kind of different mini sections. And Dawn, it's kind of the same thing. It's like first we see the fall of humanity. Then we see how the apes are doing. Mm-hmm. Then we see the reintroduction of the humans, and then so on and so forth. And it's very, very similar. So basically, I said all that to say, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is a really good movie. You should fucking watch it.
Oh, really?
If you haven't seen Dawn yet, do it. I mean,
yeah.
John Connor's in it.
They just released it. Oh yeah, he is in it. Oh, we should talk about that too. They just released a cool double feature Blu-ray pack of Rise and Dawn in one thing. So you should, if you don't have either, that's probably the best way to do it, is to get both of them.
Unless a third movie comes out and then they release the eventual triple pack.
Mm-hmm. Which I don't know what the third one's. I don't think they've released the title for the third movie, but all they've said is that they're going to turn Caesar into the Moses of apes.
He will part the sea.
Yes.
He will be played by Christian Bale.
Yes. Well, it's funny because on the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes Blu-ray is a trailer for Exodus: Gods and Kings, and that's the only trailer that's on it. So that's really fucking funny.
Yeah.
And isn't that also funny because Chuck Heston was the original Moses?
Yep.
I'm pretty sure the original Moses was Moses, but
I meant in film.
Actually, in film, the original Moses was. Hold on, let me type up his name.
Well, hang on. There is probably
it was
like a silent era.
Yeah, it was made in 1922 again by Cecil B. DeMille.
Yeah,
oh, really?
A lot of people don't know that the Chuck Heston. A lot of people don't know that the Chuck Heston movie is a remake.
Including me. I just learned that now.
Yeah, a lot of people also don't know that that Ben-Hur is a remake.
Also, something I didn't know.
A lot of people also don't know that Charlton Heston's a really good actor.
Hey man, this Chuck Heston guy isn't bad.
I like that. He ain't heavy. He's an actor, man.
Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty Egyptians!
He has such conviction.
Copyright Ralph Garman. Anyway, there was an awkward silence there. Andres, I don't know if you included this in the news section or not, but if you did, I guess we'll just jump to it then.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Did you include the Terminator Genesis thing in that?
Yeah.
All right, so let's just jump to that then.
Okay.
So, if there's no other Star Wars things to be said, let's move on, as we always do, to the general news update with Andres Perez. Lots of news this week, I imagine.
Yeah. I guess the first thing we can talk about is the new trailer for Terminator Genesis with...
Genesis?
Genesis?
Speaking of apes, rewatching Dawn this week and then seeing the Terminator trailer, I was like, it's so weird that they spelled Genesis that way, because in Apes, the company's name is Genesis with S-Y-S, so weird. And also... that motherfucker who was in
timeline.
And then in fucking Dawn, whatever Who's-a-Mafucket is gonna be John Connor in Terminator Genesis.
Who's-a-Mafucket?
I forget his name.
The guy who was an admiral.
That guy.
The guy who did a good job playing his role, even though we really did not care about his role.
You know, it's interesting.
He was also a henchman in White House Down, and I just lost all of my street cred by saying that I knew that.
Jason Clarke.
That's his name. Yes.
That's actually
he's awesome.
That's actually interesting that you draw a connection between Terminator and Planet of the Apes, because one thing that always stuck out to me as a child is that those two franchises, the original Ape series and the Terminator franchise, their plots are both reliant upon these like huge paradoxes that make absolutely no sense.
Humans being enslaved and time travel. It's kind of interesting.
They both involve paradoxes. In the original Planet of the Apes, it's Zira and Cornelius going back in time and having a baby that then sets in motion the events that would lead to Zira and Cornelius. And then in Terminator, of course, it's Kyle Reese. Just Kyle Reese.
Does that make that incest then? Because they have a common ancestry with their own son. Think about it, boys.
No. Kyle Reese, his family tree is like a separate thing from...
No, I'm talking about in Planet of the Apes.
Oh
About it.
Oh.
Yes, they're separated by
But
a lot
but
of centuries, but
isn't like when Zero and Cornelius, their child, and the child, he grew up and started the Ape Revolution. But didn't that set a new timeline in effect?
Good point. Yeah, because we don't. It's the thing we don't know.
That statement actually makes no sense at all
because Battle for the Planet of the Apes, or no, not that. What was the other one?
I mean, it might be a new timeline.
What was the last one?
Because when Cornelius and Zero tell the story in Escape, they make it sound like Aldo is the one that starts the whole fucking rebellion, and it's like, nope, it's the season.
Yeah, and Aldo was one shot in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. So pretty much they went back in time and started a new timeline that was kind of similar to the last one.
I was just making a joke, but yes, you are correct.
But
and also, Adam, I think I mentioned this ages ago when we did that Apes chat. You guys know the Apes TV show that came on after Battle for the Planet of the Apes with those guys. I think that takes place in the new timeline because in that humans can speak.
Yes.
Either that or just takes place in the future of the original.
We never really get a good explanation for how the humans lost their speech in the original timeline, but
I think the idea is that they just devolved into it because there's a line in the original where Zero goes, they're perfectly capable of it, they just don't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the idea as well.
There's a great part in the original. I love reading the original script by Paul Dane for Battle for the Planet of the Apes because the original script was fucking dark as all shit. But it made fucking Conquest for the Planet of the Apes look like Miracle on 34th Street. But
Caesar.
And there's a scene in there where Caesar has enough with the humans, and he orders them all to have their vocal cords cut out.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me that.
And that was supposed to foreshadow why the humans don't speak.
Even though in the original movie they clearly say that they do have vocal cords.
Everybody, including us, on always craps on.
No, Dylan, you didn't. No, they cut out their vocal cords, meaning that whoever their children are will never learn how to speak.
Yeah, but wouldn't they still make like animalistic sort of like grunts or something?
No, because we can't. No, you can't do that without that, because in order for you to do that, your vocal thingy, your thingamajigger, it has to vibrate, and if
voice
you
box.
use it, your voice box has to vibrate for you to do really like anything.
Haven't you ever seen Terror of Mechagodzilla?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose that's the idea, yeah. But I mean, there are also cases of children who were.
Do they even grunt in the original Planet of the Apes? I don't think they do.
They're completely quiet.
I thought because I said, but they do that, but then I was like, no, they really don't.
I mean, you would think that even if they didn't learn to speak, they would, because I mean, you're born crying, so you think they would at least know how to like make sort of just animalistic like noises.
No, because in order for you to do that, you need a voice box, Dylan.
No, but the future humans, though.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the ones that got their voice boxes cut out. That makes perfect sense.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then I don't know. Maybe humans are just stupid. I don't know.
Maybe they're just like, we don't need to speak. We're telepathic like those mutant folks.
What if they are and we just don't know it? They're just too stupid to organize. They're just too stupid to organize.
They're too stupid to know that they're telepathic?
No. What if they're really organized? It's just, and they have evolved to the point where it's like they can't speak because they just speak telepathically, and they've been like the smartest people ever, and the apes in there are just too stupid to realize it. And oh my god.
They've actually been planning the rebellion this whole time, but then like people blew
up
the planet, and then in a different timeline, like the planet went into a black hole, and then the apes traveled back in time and made Mechagodzilla. No,
that was such a weird way to bring this conversation full circle. Was that fucking joke? But Andreas, Terminator Genesis trailer.
Genius concept for a Planet of the Apes Godzilla crossover.
Well, now it looks like.
Wait, hang on. Does anybody know if the Star Trek one happened yet, or is that still in the future?
What Star Trek one?
They're doing a Star Trek Planet of the Apes crossover in the comics. Has that happened yet, or are they still producing that?
I haven't heard about that.
Well, I want to read it.
Okay, well,
anyway, the Genesis trailer. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny how you how we brought up how it's kind of like some weird like time loop where things go back in the past and then end up starting a new timeline. Because that seems to be the thing that's happening according to this new trailer, where apparently like a new like T-800 Arnold was sent further back in time than the one in Terminator 1 that caused a new timeline to exist where Sarah Connor as a little girl grew up with Arnold with a T-800 protecting her, and then now they're just is apparently like older Arnold meets T1 Arnold, and I don't know, and then now
kicks his ass.
He's like, yeah, how dare you?
baby.
How dare you look younger? How dare you look?
Shit.
How dare you look better than me? Yeah.
And
And
I have a
then
robot with crow's feet.
I didn't hate it as much as I thought I was gonna. Because this movie did not inspire confidence in me when I was first reading about it. The only thing I was really excited about was, hey, Matt Smith. That was about it.
We still don't know who he's playing or what role he plays. I hope he winds up being like a villain at the end.
I want to
He's just the Doctor.
I just want them like to at least hint that he's the Doctor. If not, I'll just think that he's doing one of that thing from that one episode with David Tennant where he thinks he's a different person and keeps all his memories in his lock.
It's Chameleon Circuit, man. He's trapped in an alternate timeline with the Chameleon Circuit, and then it's all part of the next anniversary special. Just wait.
Anyway, but he's not even in the trailer, so that doesn't really inspire confidence in me that he has a giant role. I don't know. It's a really weird movie. Obviously,
yeah. It's like first I remember I told Dylan when I first saw it, I was like, wait, what? They're retconning the whole series now?
And then I explained that it's not really a retcon so much as a new timeline being created by all the time travel. You see, you still have the original continuity. It's just in some pocket universe now. It's same as what they did with the last X-Men movie and what we were
with Star Trek.
Yeah, and Star Trek. Yeah, where it's got an interesting way of rebooting. It's like they're rebooting by means of time travel, so that way they're rebooting within the canon of the story of the narrative.
I just hope they do it better than Star Trek did.
The problem is that the Terminator universe in the original timeline has so many fucked up paradoxes, it's hard to tell what the original timeline is.
Yeah.
Because don't have to assume...
What if that actually plays a part in the new movie? What if the new timeline is so fucked up because of all the paradoxes and shit? Like, because they invented time travel in the future and all these paradoxes and shit started happening, the timeline is just, like, ripping itself apart and all this crazy shit is happening, and now we have an Asian T-1000, and what's going on?
Dun, 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 dun,
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
But it's like, because the whole...
He's going to destroy the space-time continuum!
Because both the rebellion, the resistance against Skynet, and Skynet itself were born out of the same incident in the timeline that's established in the first movie. You know, the Terminator coming back to kill Sarah Connor and Kyle Reese coming back to protect Sarah Connor is all, in every sense, the Kickstarter for the events that are being referenced in the future. Both the birth of John Connor and the birth of Skynet.
Maybe it's one of those time loopy things that David Tennant explained in Blink.
You realize it's not actually Doctor Who, though, Andreas. I would like to point that out.
But they appear to be using the same logic.
Yeah, it's strange that Matt Smith is going to be in this movie, given how much time travel stuff they're doing.
I hope they do some exploration of John Connor's thought process, because one thing I've always found fascinating is John Connor having to send his own father back in time, knowing full and well that he's going to die on this mission.
And he's also sending somebody back in time to fuck his mother. That's a little bit weird.
But I mean, it's his father, so what does he care if he fucks?
I like the joke that Jeremy Johns brought up, where if older Arnold says like, yeah, you need to fuck right now so you can make John Connor.
That's part of the thing. Is like, what if they don't fuck now because the timeline's different? Is that going to screw up the future? I also heard a rumor though that
right now.
I also heard a rumor in this movie though that John Connor is going to kind of be the villain. Did you guys hear that?
No.
I read something that was like John Connor is going to be presented as being in the wrong. So, I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, I wouldn't want him to be, like, a traditional sort of, like, mustache-twirling villain, but I could see him, like, doing something in the name of defeating the Terminators that might be morally apprehensible.
Yeah, because it looks like, strangely enough, the protagonist of this movie is definitely going to be Kyle Reese, played by
great pedigree here, the kid from Die Hard 5.
Played by not Michael Biehn.
Right, yeah, how the fuck are they like, this guy equals Michael Biehn? Who the fuck thought that? This guy looks nothing, and it's not like in Salvation where he's really, really young, so he doesn't have, and even then, Anton Yelchin looks more like Michael Biehn than this fucking guy. It was really strange that
time is made. Well, you see, time is made out of a big ball of timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff.
Damn it,
yes, I know I fucked up that line.
Matt Smith is Kyle Reese. He looks more like fucking Michael Biehn than the guy. The guy actually looks more like a younger Arnold than anything else.
They got the hair. Yeah, he's got too much of a build going on. He looks more like fucking Marcus from Salvation.
Because part of the point of the original movie, yeah, I agree. Part of the point of the original movie is that Kyle Reese is like really malnourished and kind of scrappy because of the shitty, really shitty conditions he's living in. So it's like, what the fuck, man? Why'd you cast this fucking Adonis of fucking for fucking this role? My whole problem with everything after T1, including, and I know everybody thinks that T2 is perfect, and I love T2 as well. Everything after T1 just doesn't look gritty enough to me, including Salvation, where it's like, in the first movie...
T2 is perfect.
I know you think that, but in T1, those scenes in the future, when I saw that movie as a kid, those things scared the shit out of me, there's that scene where they're watching a TV, and then the camera dollies in, and they're watching just fire in the TV. And then there's a scene where a guy is just, like, poking a trowel underneath the fucking racks and trying to kill a rat to eat. Like, that shit's terrifying.
I love the part where the Terminator comes in. The Terminator comes in with the fucking Gatling gun.
Yeah, and it's like, well... And then in T2, it's like we don't spend a lot of time in the future, so whatever. But even then, I think it looked a little bit too clean. But at least you still got the skulls on the ground and everything. T3, we spend almost no time in the future, so whatever. And then... yeah, but even then. And then Salvation gets it closer, but even then, half the movie takes place during the daytime. So we never really get to see that kind of traditional, like, skulls on the ground, everything's dark, kind of, like, visual. So, I don't know. But this movie, I say all that to say that this movie does not look gritty enough to me.
What killed me about Salvation, and this might seem like just not even an issue, but it kind of fucked with me a little bit. In the first three movies, the future was always shown with, like, this blue color palette.
Yeah.
And then in Salvation, everything's sepia tone.
And then, yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I like it that I'm glad that they went back to that bluish tone, but then now it's kind of like added that orange, like blue, teal, orange tone that's used in almost every single film nowadays. So now the future kind of looks a bit generic now. Yeah,
I agree. Especially that shot of the CG Terminator firing the pulse rifle looked terrible. It looked terrible. And the HKs don't look that good either. When they're one of the first shots on the trailer where they're flying overhead, it looked like I was watching a trailer for like Halo 3.
Yeah. The one thing that really bothered me about the trailer was all the callbacks to the original film.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be back, come with me if you want to live. The Arnold looking at his like skeletal metal frame.
Yeah, they knocked them all out in one trailer, didn't they?
Yeah, I was like, do you really have to do? I mean, I would have been fine with the whole dun 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 dun.
That's fine.
The theme.
That's the theme song.
But they're trying
to
do
everything.
It's the same thing what happened with Salvation. I'll be back. Come with me if you want to live. They do the whole.
No, but that's fine in the movie. But they did it in the trailer. Is the thing that bothers me.
Yeah. It's like.
Also, aside from that, not even just the general Terminator stuff. Even all the callbacks to T2 specifically with what the T-1000 is doing. There's a shot where it's running behind a car,
it makes like hook hands or like knife hands or something.
That shot where it throws up the liquid middle and throws it as a spear. That's cool.
Bill, Andre said an interesting question. Do you think the T-1000 is the same one that we saw in T2, except that he's been sent to a different timeline because everything's changed, and obviously he doesn't look like fucking what's his name? Robert Patrick, because he copied a different human.
I don't really think it matters because they're all kind of the same anyway. As Arnold says in T3, they all come off an assembly line, so I don't really think it matters.
here's the thing I want. Here's one thing I'm hoping to see.
But the T-1000 always struck me as like a prototype or something. Like it's pretty fucking.
The T-1000?
Yeah.
Especially when
really, it seems kind of perfect to me.
Once you learn. Well,
no, I mean what I mean is, it seems to me like he might be like the first of his kind, like fresh off the assembly line, brand new model. Because if they had a bunch of T-1000s, you would have seen them on the fucking battlefield. Why even send out the regular Terminators?
That's a good point. We never see the T-1000s in the future, do we?
No. Well, kind of. Well, I'm about to get into this. Bill, are you aware of the T-1 million?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, explain this to me as well.
Okay, so I guess you could say this is canon, considering this was made by James Cameron and all the returning cast. But in Universal Studios, there used to be an attraction called Terminator 2 3D, which is basically which is basically Terminator 2.5. And in the future, like the characters, they go back. Well, John Connor and the T-800, they go back to the future. Whatever. And then
well done, Andres.
They're destroying.
He knew he was obligated to make that joke, so he just thought he would get it out of the way. Really.
He was like, I gotta throw it in there.
And so then they went to like the heart of like Skynet, and there they see the ultimate security system, and there they meet the T1. They battle the T1 million, which is like a giant spider kaiju version of the T-1000.
Oh, I saw this. I saw a trailer for this on the VHS tape for Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking.
You just post in the thing here.
Oh, that is adorable. Is that an official picture? I want that to be official.
Nah, because he's wearing his Star-Lord jacket.
Oh, okay. So
that is adorable, though.
I'm really hoping that maybe the T-1000 in this movie can turn into like a version of T-1 million.
Oh my god.
Adam, is this going to become a new Sunday?
I'm putting this Fandom cuteness collection.
Oh god, no! It's going to be conquered by baby velociraptors. They're lethal at 8 months, and I do mean lethal.
They created a velociraptor from their hybrid.
Let me tell you, those suckers can bite.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like I'm hoping they can maybe incorporate like maybe I'm hoping just like as a Terminator fan to see like the T-1000 turn into like a smaller version of that T-1 million spider.
Yeah,
I doubt they'll do that.
Yeah, but it's somewhat creative. Just have it turn into a completely liquefied, non-humanoid entity.
Now we've been pretty negative on this so far. Can I say something I really liked? I think the casting of Daenerys from Game of Thrones as Sarah Connor is brilliant, given who she plays on Game of Thrones and who Sarah Connor is. And also, she looks really, really close to how Linda Hamilton looked in the original Terminator, in some shots. What were you going to say, Dylan?
All I said was that's the chick that plays Daenerys in Game of Thrones. I've never actually watched Game of Thrones, but I've heard that name.
Yeah, she's Khaleesi in Game of Thrones, and she's this very strong warrior, leader type of woman. And of course, that's fine. What Sarah Connor is in T2. So
that's fine, given the new version of the timeline. Of course, in the original movie, the whole point was that Sarah Connor was not that and had to become that in between the two movies.
Right. It's strangely enough like kind of a Buffy the Vampire Slayer thing, where she was kind of this stereotypical like airhead woman, and then she became like this badass because of what happened to her. So I think that joke in the trailer is really great, by the way, where John Connor's like she's scared and weak, and then she just comes crashing through in an ambulance and is like, "Come with me if you want to live." And Kyle Reese is like, "This is not how I thought things were gonna be."
I just want to say that shot of fucking old Arnold saying, "I've been waiting for you," is probably my favorite shot.
Yeah, I had to watch this 2 times though. Because I thought he was talking to Kyle, and then
that's what I was thinking. I didn't know he was talking to older. I didn't know he was talking to young Arnold until I was talking to Dylan about it.
I got it because they played it right after Sarah Connor said, "We already took care of the other Terminator," and it's like, "Oh shit!"
No, well, they played it right after a shot of Kyle, so I thought he was talking to Kyle. But it is a really cool moment, and also Dylan, we talked about this on DFOS, but all the iconography that's borrowed from the original Terminator of like the police car, the alleyway where Kyle Reese.
Yeah. Oh, they did an awesome job recreating the shots from the original movie. That's one thing that I was really impressed by.
Yeah, he's wearing the same trench coat.
There are a couple of moments where I had to do a double take and make sure like that's not stock footage, is it?
No, I knew that because the guy who's playing Kyle Reese looks like nothing like fucking Michael Biehn. and also again doesn't look like enough to me.
Well, David, what did you think of the Terminator trailer?
Is he here? Nah, he's BRB.
Okay. Adam, what do you think of the trailer?
One for
Terminator.
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Do you want us to link it to you and you can watch it, or?
I don't care about the Terminator universe that much.
Oh snap!
You can watch it later then. You can watch it when you give a fuck.
I'll watch it. That's exactly my reaction. I'll watch it when I give a fuck.
Remind me when I give a fuck. That's kind of how I. That's strangely enough kind of how I felt about the Star Wars trailer when it first came out. I was like, yeah, remind me when I give a fuck. And then now I'm on this huge Star Wars kick because of it. So when I'll definitely rewatch the Terminator movies beforehand. Before I see this, because it looks like it's gonna be
somewhat decent. Somewhat, kind of, maybe.
Yeah, I'm more optimistic about it than I was. I was really down on it because also
like,
I was
even like everybody like as soon as they said like, oh, and Arnold goes to the past and protects young Sarah Connor, everyone was like, what? This is fucking stupid.
Well, one thing that I read a long time ago, like right after Salvation came out, that I was really worried about was there was a script written by McG before Salvation was released. That was a sequel to that, where John Connor went back in time to do something.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it.
What a stupid fucking idea. You finally did give us a movie set in the post-apocalyptic future,
and
then you're going to bring John Connor into the past? What are you, fucking stupid?
Why would they go into the past?
Then Terminator Salvation bombed, and that never happened.
Why would humanity's sole hope for survival decide, hey, I'm going to go on a dangerous mission to the past? That's a terrible idea.
TTYL.
Well, however, that gave me the idea of maybe that whole thing of, John Connor is going to be a villain in this movie. Maybe the whole point is that he's not a villain, but he has delusions of grandeur, which honestly would not really be his fault given how everybody treats him.
Yeah,
you know
especially in T2.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you are the savior of mankind. It's like, of course you have.
It wouldn't really jive with the pathetic little shit fuck that he was in Terminator 3, but it makes perfect sense with 2.
Right. And we know that T3, at least based on Salvation, is still canon because of when Judgment Day happens.
Right.
But we don't. But it's unclear now, given that this is a different production company and that Arnold is back in it, that
I want to see somebody.
Whether or not Salvation is still canon.
I want to see somebody take those last shots from T3 of like the nuclear apocalypse happening and just cut the music out of that and cut in "We'll Meet Again."
Touche.
Did you guys see that video? To get back to Star Wars for a second, you guys remember that video where somebody took the music out of the throne room scene from New Hope?
I heard reports about it, but I didn't see it.
It is fucking hilarious because it is so awkward. Because what makes that scene is the triumphant music, because there's no dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've all heard the story that may or may not be true, that George Lucas showed the movie to somebody without music, and they thought it was awful. And when the music added in, it was the greatest movie.
Yeah.
I assume it must have been awkward because there's like no dialogue. They're just like staring and smiling at each other. Like,
well, there's this fucking, they cut it. They've added in these like coughs from the audience. Yeah. It's fucking brilliant.
You hear like they added in like the footsteps, like clop clop.
Oh yeah, you can hear. They really edited it well sound wise. But another thing you guys asked earlier, do you think there's anything that the specialized editions did better? Cutting out those fucking cardboard cutouts that are in A New Hope, probably a good idea because it's. I don't understand why they felt that. I guess to make the throne room seem more filled, but they could have just zoomed in a little bit. It would have looked fine. I don't know why George Lucas was like,
I don't know, get more people.
let's put cardboard cutouts on the side there, guys. But they had plenty. It's just up to that one point. There's like this massive cardboard. Then there's real people. It looks terrible. They could have just zoomed in a little bit, and it would have looked as vast. I don't understand what the fuck he was thinking.
Thank God I never noticed those cardboard people on my old VHS.
You know why you didn't notice them, Andres? Because they're on the sides of the screens, and on the old VHSs, they were pan and scanned.
Right. Well, I didn't even know about that until, Adam, you mentioned it when we were talking the other day. And Jake plugged in his USB, and you were like, "Oh, there's the cardboard cutouts. Thank God this is the right version." I was like, "I never noticed those before." That's
I love it how it wasn't Guido Shoots first that was like, "Oh, I need to know this is the original versions." It was, "Did we see cardboard cutouts?" Because that's what they are. What it is not a cardboard cutout. It's actually a matte painting.
Right. That's what I assumed. But it's funnier to think that they're cardboard cutouts.
Cardboard cutouts, because they're all exactly the fucking same.
It's such a pointless fucking move. But anyway,
David. So David's back. So David? What do you think about Terminator Genesis?
Genesis or Genesis?
It's Terminator Genesis.
Because I'm still a supporter of the theory that Arnold Schwarzenegger wrote the script and chose to keep it as Genesis.
Yeah, this is how you spell Genesis. If you got the problem with how I spell it.
He's the whole reason this fucking movie got made, because nobody was thinking about a new Terminator after fucking Salvation came out. Not that I hate Salvation, but that movie did not do well at the box office. So I'm sure he was like, "I am back acting. Let us make a new Terminator."
I wonder why that movie didn't do good at the box office. Who's the voice of Skynet? Helena Bonham Carter? What?
Yeah. Who's the protagonist of this movie? John Connor? Nope. Sam Worthington. It's like, what? Really?
Have you guys ever seen that hilarious cutscene from Terminator 3 where they explain where the T-800 got their face? It's this southern
the Southern Water Tribe.
No, it's southern soldier named.
The southern accent.
His name is like Sergeant
the Southern
Candy.
Water Tribe.
His name is Sergeant Candy or something, and he has this terrible southern accent.
And then there's this, and then somebody's like, "All right, I like the form, but can we change the voice?" And then the guy goes, "We can change it."
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
They should have kept that scene in the movie.
That scene is so fucking stupid. Not that the rest of the movie isn't. But...
That's what I'm saying. It would have fit perfectly well into the rest of the movie, and it would have been awesome. I like that explanation, actually. I like the fact that it's like, oh, this is where they got the face from.
Arnold, does Arnold look shorter to you guys in that movie than he did in T?
He looks rather full of CG to me.
Well, that, yes, but it's like, I know he got older, but he didn't shrink as he got older, did he? Because he's been in movies recently, and he looks pretty fucking gargantuan.
Doesn't the space between your spine kind of shorten?
Like, don't bring science into this conversation.
People have been known to shrink as they age.
No, but I'm just saying, in movies he's been in recently where he's been way older than he was in that, he looks normal size, but he looks like a midget in Terminator 3.
Trick photography, Bill. All trick photography.
How would they make
it all comes down to trick photography. You should know this. Rizzuto says it every day, Bill. Film is nothing but one giant lie.
Bill, you do realize that Elijah Wood is not actually the size of... Bill, you do realize that Elijah Wood is not actually the size of a hobbit, right?
No, Elijah Wood. Are you telling me Elijah Wood really is 3 feet tall? What the fuck are you talking about?
So are you saying that in movies
what type of fucked up universe do you live in, Dylan?
Also, the other Hobbit that was later in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yeah, you notice he's not 3 feet tall in that movie?
Oh, I thought that was done with CG.
Nah, man.
Excuse me.
He really is
ruined
that
my life.
Wait, what guy was in X-Men Origins?
Gandalf was sitting way closer to the camera than the rest of them were. No, it's one of the hobbits is in X-Men Origins. He's the guy that could like make electricity work with his mind. The first one that Sabretooth kills.
The guy from Lost?
Was he in Lost?
Dominic Monaghan. Yeah, it's Dominic. His name is Dominic Monaghan.
Yeah, that's
him.
I never watched.
Who was he in the Hobbit movies?
He's one of the fucking.
He's Merry. He's not Pepin. He's Merry.
He's Merry. Okay.
Yep.
So he's not one of the main two.
No, he's not Sam or Frodo.
then I have no idea who he is then.
He's in the other ambiguously gay.
No, I'm saying
duo.
it's fine. I don't. I'm saying that's why I don't know. Is because he's not.
They're
Sam or Frodo.
brothers, Dylan.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Are they? Are Sam and Frodo were brothers?
No,
the
very
other
important.
two.
Oh, god damn it. Oh, god.
I don't know about the Hobbit pictures.
Okay.
Why?
But
I don't know why there's a giant. I don't know why there's a giant eye in the sky. I don't know why.
it's not in the sky, Bill. It's on the top of a building.
Whatever. All I remember is that I used to play the Lord of the Rings video game, and I would always play as Aragorn. That was all I knew.
You're like, I don't know why Count Dooku
Never.
dresses
Don't
in
play
white.
as Aragorn, man. If you play the Return of the King game, play as Gandalf, man. Fucking lightning bolts. Anyway.
I play Gandalf, and once in a while, for shits and giggles, I play Gimli.
Yeah, I really like Gimli in those games. Can we just talk about how awesome Gimli?
When I was a kid, and I was like, "Fuck you guys."
Nobody talks as a dwarf.
I also hated playing as Legolas. I have no idea why.
Ew, Legolas. He's a woman.
He's Orlando Bloom. That's why he's a woman.
I wish we could have played as a dwarf woman.
Yeah, but
Which are so similar in appearance to dwarf men that a lot of people assume that there are no dwarf women and that dwarves simply spring out of holes in the ground. Which is, of course, ridiculous.
Kills me. When I was about to make the joke, maybe you did, but you didn't. You couldn't tell that you played as a dwarf woman. Maybe Gimli is a dwarf woman.
One of the lines in fucking The Two Towers that makes me laugh is when the camera is going down the line of elves or whatever on top of fucking Helm's Deep, and suddenly you just see this little tiny helmet sticking up just above the fucking eye line of the fucking wall, and all of a sudden you see Orlando Bloom next to him, and all of a sudden you see the helmet just move up and down, and you hear Gimli go, "Oh, you could have picked a better spot," and the camera just keeps going.
Wait,
I love that.
Is that true? Gimli's getting blown?
No,
God damn it, Bill.
He says you could have picked a better spot because he can't.
So confused.
Bill, he says you could have picked a better spot because he can't see over the wall.
Oh.
He needs
You said helmet moving up and down, and I was like, is Gimli getting blown?
He needs a stack of.
Bill, of course, your mind would go straight to that.
He needs a stack of phone books.
I was like, I gotta see these movies. These sound fucking awesome. Motherfuckers getting blowjobs in the middle of battle. This sounds amazing.
Oh my god, you have been listening to too much Hollywood Babylon.
Fucking Legolas pops up like,
Andre's listening to Hollywood Babylon. He's been doing too much SOS is what he's been doing.
The reason why he acts this way is because of his exposure to Kevin Smith.
Wait, Legolas was getting blown?
I gotta see this movie now.
First of all, it was Gimli. Second of all,
Gimli's getting blown by Legolas.
By a dwarf woman.
It was a blooper that Orlando Bloom was like, I gotta suck a dick, and they had to throw it in there because Peter Jackson really liked that take, so he was like, whatever, we'll double line where Gimli is like, you could have picked up at a spot.
He was being blown by a dwarf woman, and people thought he was being gay, but they didn't realize that there are dwarf women.
And Peter Jackson was like, I want to have a hard, like, fucking Caligula scene where we just cut to, like, hardcore ball-slapping sex between Gimli and Legolas that has nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
And then the Eye of Sauron is looking there, is like, the fuck?
He just looks at him, and all of a sudden you hear
Great sound effects, Bill.
fat.
Even better.
Instead of pig sex in this universe, people say, yo, girl, we're gonna have orc sex.
You know, we never got to hear David's opinion on the Genesis trailer.
David, what is your opinion about the Gimli blowjob?
I have a scientific question. I have a scientific question. In Star Wars, if two of the clones fuck, is that considered gay?
Or is it incest?
Or is it masturbation?
Yeah, or is it just... I'm asking that seriously.
No, wait, no. Time travel is masturbation. This is two separate entities who just happen to have the same genetic code. It would be like if two twins fucked.
Oh my god.
George Lucas would be like, "Yo, George, I got a question for you. In Star Wars, if 2 clones fucked, is that gay?"
Listen, George.
When I was writing the Star Wars universe, I never thought I'd be asked that.
Listen here, Georgie boy. This is my question. If one of the stormtroopers gives Gimli a blowjob,
we used the time phone from that Charlie Chaplin fucking conspiracy thing. We call up J.R.R. Tolkien. We're like, Tolkien, let me ask you a fucking question. Ask you a token question, if you will. You guys see what I did there? And I'm just like, do you think the dwarves could give Legolas a blowjob? Is that what was going on into the 2 towers?
Let me just ask you this. Have Legolas and Gimli ever fucked? That's just what...
Listen, I'm just asking if Legolas has had a cock in the mouth. I just want to know. I want to know if that was crossing your mind when you wrote the 2 Towers.
Also, back before Saruman turned bad, did him and Gandalf ever get together?
Did Sylvester McCoy's wizard ever fuck Gandalf?
His name is Radagast.
Whatever the fuck his name is. And he'd be like, who the fuck is Sylvester McCoy because he's dead?
There are also 2 blue wizards whose name I do not know.
They're named the Blue Man Group, obviously. Here comes the Blue Man Group. Just 2 blue wizards come in. They're fucking drunk. We're gonna fight Sauron, guys!
I think they'll get a lot of motivation from this picture here.
Here's the thing, though. Lord of the Rings, Sauron spends most of the time as this all-seeing eye who's just watching people go about their daily lives. How much time do you think he spends watching?
Oh, he probably spent the whole time watching people. He probably just kept watching Sam and Frodo like, I'm waiting for the moment. I'm just waiting for the moment.
So was everyone else. That Ewok is terrifying.
It's like, Sam, I'm feeling the ring coming on. A cock ring.
And Wicked shows up out of nowhere for the second edition.
You think R2-D2 was ever equipped with a dildo? Or you know what? No. C-3PO would make more sense because he's human cyborg relations. He has a strap on.
Again, these are the burning questions of our age that the armchair detectives will spend hours.
You're telling me that C-3PO was Lady Gaga?
Yes! C-3PO is Lady Gaga.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. All right.
The science is sound.
I like it.
So, David, what were your thoughts on the Terminator Genesis trailer?
No more blowjob jokes?
Wait.
It sounded like Adam was having like the greatest blowjob of his time.
Arnold went back to time to get by Arnold.
But is that masturbation?
Let me just think about it a moment, make sure I'm done with the jokes. I got no more.
Prepare thy anus, younger Arnold.
Yeah, what happens if those 2? Never mind.
What if those 2 touch?
If Terminators have dicks, can they come?
But they don't have the internal organs built. They just have the
But they've got the balls, and that's all you need, isn't it? Or is there like little metal testicles inside of the balls?
You have to have a prostate, Bill.
But when they blow up the Terminator, you don't see like a low hang, like a pubic bone where the fucking dick was. You just see like nothing. It's just like a Ken doll.
The point is, Bill, they come because they don't have a prostate, right?
Well, why do you think in Terminator Salvation? Why do you think they were trying so hard to avoid showing young Arnold's nether regions? Because he does have something there that they don't want the audience to see.
Because they want a rating.
I think I made this joke already, but just in case I didn't, when I saw Terminator Salvation in theaters with Nicola, and they showed the younger CGI Arnold, I got really excited, and she was like, "You're getting excited over a naked man being in this movie," and I was like, "That's not why it's cool." I think I told that joke.
It's Arnold.
Don't run, John Connor, don't run away. I want my dick on Earth, you
young and full of cum.
I want to share my experience with lifting weights. It feels like I'm coming all the time.
It is like coming with a woman. Yes, it is.
Wait, John, why are you running away? I want to tell you the story.
Would you like to come with a woman?
It things of that nature.
So, David, what were your thoughts on the Terminator Genesis trailer?
I feel like we're never gonna reach that answer.
Well, speak up, son.
So many blowjobs in the way.
The world may never know.
There better be a blowjob scene in Terminator Genesis. That's all I'm saying.
Shut up. Okay, David, what is it?
I'm pretty. God damn it, Adam!
What?
God damn it!
Shut up.
Wait a minute, hang on,
No,
hang on.
No, David.
Wait, no, hang the fuck on. David.
Fucking speak.
Go ahead.
Sure?
Yes.
All right.
That was his thoughts on the Terminator Genesis trailer. Was the Jeff Goldblum? So, you two make Terminator movies? You bring the scientists. You bring the rock star.
What? You bring both?
Oh, I mean, whatever. Same difference.
You bring the Terminators.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right, David, speak.
I'm pretty optimistic about it. I don't think they fuck shit up. I mean, first of all, nobody's seen the movie, and the casting crew seem pretty optimistic about it.
Someone in this movie's getting a blowjob, clearly.
Wait, but David, isn't that their job? Is to be like, oh, this movie's gonna be. Do you ever think Joel Schumacher was like, Batman and Robin is gonna be a really great movie, gonna tell a really interesting story about Batman, and then we saw what the fuck happened.
I really want to see the star be honest one time, like, this movie sucks, you guys. Don't go.
Well, we did that. Remember when Bill Cosby was like, don't see Leonard Bonsix, here's the little button.
Don't go see Ghost Dad.
What movie should I see?
This movie do not have the yellow button in it, therefore it's not worth seeing.
Wait, Andres, I need my Bill Cosby translator. What the fuck did you just say?
I am saying you should not see the Leonard Bonsix because there's no yellow button.
The Lenin Part 6?
We should not see the box 6 because there's no gluten? Is that what you said?
So you see with the Zazubaar and the rape jokes.
Okay, number 5's mom from Codename Kids Next Door.
Played by Bill Cosby.
I am not a good person.
All right.
I am an asshole.
Would you like a pudding pop? By that I mean...
You offer too many pudding pops.
Howard Moore, would you like to... I would like to introduce your second God with the pudding pop.
I don't know how to feel about this situation.
We can... We'll write Ghost Dad 3, The Return.
Then we can have
how does it go?
Pudding.
Oh,
the true story behind
adaptation out of Little Bill.
We can call this Big Bill. It can be about him getting lots of blowjobs.
I'm down for that movie. No, jobs. Think consensual.
Trying to think to ask David a question that we haven't covered yet. Aside from blowjobs, about this here trail.
The important question is, David, would you like a pudding pop? No.
A what?
Would you like a pudding pop? Provided
David,
specifically from Bill Cosby himself.
Do you think the quality of the action that we see in this trailer is up to snuff with the past Terminator movies? Because you're a big action guy.
Personally, yeah, because when I saw it, it felt like a remake of the first two Terminator movies, but then I thought back to Days of Future Past where it felt like reconning everything to kind of like, forget about Terminator 3, forget about Salvation, and just keep the good ones intact with the continuity.
Right.
Which is I'm not opposed to that because, clearly it worked for Days of Future Past. It can work for Terminator or any other franchise.
Though, to be fair, Days of Future Past got rid of everything except for First Class, including the two good X-Men movies.
But we're to assume that some events from the first two movies sort of kind of happened.
I guess.
In some form or another, even if not exactly what we saw on screen. Obviously,
Well, here's something that confused me about the ending of Futures Past, is that supposedly the X-Men Origins thing never happened because Mystique apparently is disguised as a
Striker.
Striker. There we go. So apparently X-Men Origins never happened.
No, nothing that came out for Days of Future Past happened exactly the way that we saw it, except for First Class.
Yeah, well, it also makes you think, does Wolverine have bone claws now in the present? Probably not.
I don't.
Wolverine is taken back to the Bryan Singer films.
What do you mean?
I should elaborate. He's taken in between the time between the first X-Men film and the second X-Men film.
Yeah.
So he without the
No, I thought it was he went back to the exact same time that he left from. Only everything's completely different. Like all the X-Men are alive and the Sentinel shit never happened.
Only his consciousness remembers, because his body is now completely different. Because they explain that he himself is not traveling through time. It's just his consciousness. Because he's in the body he was in the 70s.
I just realized you're right. He was younger when he went back to the other time.
He didn't travel, because that's why he wakes up and he's like, "Where the fuck am I?" Because he doesn't remember. Because he was in his previous, but he wakes up in the bed of some prostitute or something, getting his dick sucked.
Yeah.
But Legalus.
Well, I don't think we ever saw the person.
Hey,
so
Bob,
maybe
you could have picked a better spot.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It could be cool. I think it's about time we moved on. We've been on this for about an hour.
Of course, the Hobbits created Sentinels.
That's
not
true.
A
That's kind of
not a
cool.
hobbit. He's a dwarf.
By the way, I thought that was really cool that he got cast, not just for his size, because
At first I
that
was
character in the
confused.
comics is not short. He's a normal-sized dude, and they just cast him for his acting ability. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
It kind of confused me. At first I was like, wait, what? And I was like, oh, okay.
And they don't even make a joke about his size in the movie. I thought that was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know how Mystique transforms into him. Like, where does all her other body mass go?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about, like, when she becomes somebody who's bigger.
In that, you can just imagine that she, like, balloons up, right? But, like, shrinking is a whole other problem.
Question: if she becomes a dude, does she grow a penis? That's my only concern.
I mean, I think she only has to alter what people see, and if she's turning into a dude who's wearing pants, then I don't think she would have to.
So is it just like a Ken doll, or is a vagina there?
I mean, I'm imagining she has the ability to grow a penis, if that suits her. See, if she was a transsexual, she would have no trouble whatsoever.
Oh, she would be the best. But she doesn't have one when she's in her Mystique form because she's naked. So does that mean she has to transform to mate?
Or maybe
in the original,
maybe she could just transform like a specific portion of her body.
Because in the comics, she's Nightcrawler's son.
No, she's his mom.
Mother, whatever. Sorry, it's late and I'm tired.
And his dad is Azazel from fucking First Class, huh?
Oh, okay. Alright. I remember in the X-Men Origins Wolverine game, they explained that Mystique got together with that guy, the teleporter, who wore the cowboy hat in that movie.
There's also been related at the fact that she might be Sabretooth's mom or something. It's weird.
Well, but then in the Bryan Singer continuity, it's not even clear if Mystique is Nightcrawler's mother because they only share one scene together in the whole franchise.
Well, Nightcrawler is so inconsequential in the Bryan Singer universe. I mean, he's in one movie.
Yeah,
he's really
sadly, because he's really, really well played in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
we ready to move on?
Let's move on, shall we?
Okay, so in other news, the new Godzilla game for the PS3 in Japan is going to be coming to America in summer of 2015 and will also be released for the PlayStation 4.
Yep. For anger management, greatest advertisement ever. I am so pumped. Now, my question is...
Which of you did that noise emit from?
I'm going to say it's David, because he tends to do that.
What the hell? Why the hell did you go to me first?
Because you've made noises like that in the past.
Oh, really?
Yes!
I thought it was
Well, hang on. Here's my immediate question when I saw this. Aside from, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. Is this because of all the fan outcry that it wasn't getting a U.S. release, or were they always planning this and just didn't tell anybody?
I don't know.
Because this has been a publicity
because
stunt.
of the fans. It was the fans because
Yeah.
Bandai actually on their official Facebook put out, if there are any fans that actually want this game to be localized, please speak up. And
It's a stupid question to me because it's like, who's gonna say no?
Well, the thing is, it's like all like Bandai. I think aren't they all David? Aren't they also the people who've been making all like the Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Gundam games that have never been released outside of Japan?
have they?
Yeah, Bandai's definitely it, I think. Or maybe no, it's Ban Presto, or maybe it's both Bandai and Ban Presto. But
What I don't understand about Japan. Japan, do you not want our money? Because we want to give you our. I mean, I am fully willing to give you my money, but you just got to release your shit over here.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
that's
the thing. They rarely share any of their tokusatsu related media over in America outside of the movies, and even then,
I want my Ultraman game.
I'm convinced that it's revenge for World War II. No.
Yeah, they've been doing that for this long.
They get us hooked on their shit, and then they don't release it.
Like, you like Ultraman? You like Ultra 7? Well, fuck you. You're not going to get the rest of the Showa series.
It's Sabaya's revenge for being seen as a war criminal after World War II. It's his after death revenge for that.
David, I think you're the only one of us who has actually played the game at this point, right?
Yeah.
You played it? What?
He played the demo.
I played the demo of the Japanese release.
How the fuck did you do that?
I had to create a Japanese account, and
He's a pirate.
It took me. I'm a pirate too. I know this.
Tell us how it is.
Well,
speak.
I loved it.
Give us your review.
The two main flaws I have with it is that Godzilla. That you remember how in Destroy All Monsters and Save the Earth and Unleashed, you had the ability to run
by holding.
Oh, he can only lumber.
Yeah, I missed that. The only way you could possibly get to a destination faster is if you just
jump,
not sprint. But there's this move that Godzilla does where I played it on the PS3, obviously, and when you press X, he kind of does this thing where he's charging, but it only lasts for like a couple seconds, and you don't get that very far. But it's still faster than lumbering.
Now, also, wait. So it's kind of like Ocarina of Time, where Link has to constantly roll to get across the Hyrule Field.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a double-edged sword, though, isn't it? Because on one hand, you got to give them a lot of props for, as they wanted to do, recreating the classic special effects of the Godzilla movie so realistically. And that's why they did that. They wanted to make it look more like you were playing the movies rather than just making it look realistic, which is something that I think is really cool.
Well,
but at the same time, you sacrifice game mechanics because you're doing that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I'm kind of fine with it. I kind of made my peace with it because this is a vast improvement over like the past Godzilla games.
I'm hoping so, yeah.
But at the same time, this isn't produced by the same company. This isn't produced by Atari.
Yeah, not Simon Strange and his crew.
Right.
I'm glad we finally have this type of Godzilla game. I wouldn't mind having another Godzilla fighting game as well. I would love to have both. I would love to live in that world.
Yeah.
But
I'm just glad we finally got like what I said when I did that video all those years ago, where I was like, I want a Batman Arkham Asylum / Hulk Ultimate Destruction type Godzilla game, and that looks like exactly what this is.
Do you know that?
Play that.
Strangely enough, do you know that Simon Strange responded to that video? Like he commented on that video of yours.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said, hey, we may not, even though we're not working on the kind of game that you described, we are, in terms of giant monster video games, we are making Kaiju Combat, and that's basically what he said.
How long has Kaiju Combat been in development or pre-production?
About a year, I believe.
A year? It's been like what, since 2010?
No, it's got
no. The Kickstarter finished around this time last year.
I mean, I know they made some change to it.
They have released they have released a beta version of the game.
Yeah, we saw people playing it at GFest.
We saw a little bit of it at GFest.
Yeah, and I have it on my laptop right now. I played it a couple times.
And the graphics need major improvement.
Oh yeah. I think they just recently on the Facebook page they showed like a brand new texture, like new skin model for one of the kaijus from that Facebook game that.
I feel kind of bad now because I kind of shit on the Godzilla games that he made in that video.
Yeah.
And then I met the dude and I was like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And then I was like,
"That fucking sucked." I gotta make fighting games, man.
I praised Save the Earth. To be fair, I only shit on Unleashed.
I love your games. They suck.
I love you.
Why you gotta make fighting games, man? Why can't you make the Godzilla game I've always wanted, man? Why can't you be Bandai?
Well, hang on a second. To be fair to me, in that video, my point was not that I hate all Godzilla fighting games. My point was I'm sick of Godzilla fighting games. Because that's all we've ever had that's been playable. Like, the only other stuff we've had is that fucking Game Boy game.
Generations 2? The Dreamcast games.
Yeah, but that only came out in Japan, though. I'm saying American.
No, that was America as well.
Oh, was it really? Oh, I didn't play a Dream. No, nobody played the Dreamcast, Andre. Shut the fuck up. Nobody had a Dreamcast.
Right, I had a Super Nintendo, Andres.
And I had an Odyssey 2, bitch.
And I had an N64.
I had an N64. So, good times.
So did anybody here have a Dreamcast when it was new? Just to make my point.
You had the one
in the days when VCRs were so relevant and dinosaurs roamed.
Somebody in the back is just slowly raising. I'm like, get the fuck out.
That he's like, instead of like the sad Hulk music, he's singing like something from like a Sonic game. Rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow.
Follow my rainbow.
Those are actual.
Follow your rainbow.
Those are actual lyrics from like the first stage of Sonic Adventure 2.
I guess tasting the rainbow.
Well, just to get back to the topic, though, I guess it makes sense that it's going to be a while before it comes out because it only came out on the PS3 in Japan.
Yeah.
But it's coming out on the PS3 and PS4 in America, so I'm assuming they're going to have to update the graphics to that standard.
Is it possible that, like, this game was initially made for the PS3, and at this point we are well into the next generation of consoles, and
that's been a year now.
Yeah, I remember way back when the Wii and the PS3 first came out, there were still games being made for the PS2, but whenever games were still being made for the PS2, those were like the cheaper games. So I'm wondering if, in this case, is this going to be like a budgeted title, like cheap title?
I'm wondering if it's going to be.
He didn't die.
I think it is because.
Oh, thank God.
God damn it, Adam!
I'm sorry.
I took a massive dump. I had to let everybody know.
Okay, so David?
I think it is going to be that type of game that you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, a majority of the Godzilla games were like that, especially
right. Yeah.
But here's the thing. You don't play those games for any substance like you would find in Metal Gear Solid or Mass Effect or any of those actual budgeted games.
Yeah.
These are fighting games. You just want to fight and
Yeah, well, this is a more ambitious game, so I'm wondering if this is able to.
But is there a story in this game, or is it just like a couple of vignettes?
Or is this going to be? Because I think my worst fear is that this is going to be like a really repetitive kind of game.
Well, then again, wouldn't all fighting games be repetitive by definition?
Not when you're fighting against multiple levels of like humans and computers, where it's
no, that I kind of agree with. I've never been a huge fan of fighting games for that reason, is they get kind of boring really quickly. Like, I remember when I played, and this might just because this is not a great fighting game, but I remember I played Mortal Kombat versus DC, and I got really bored with it really quickly because I tried to play the story mode.
Uh-huh.
Also, the fatalities in that one suck. Anyway.
Well, they're not called fatalities; they're called brutalities.
No, they're still fatalities, but they're nerfed.
If you're playing as a Mortal Kombat character, you can do a fatality. But I guess the DC Universe characters weren't allowed to kill anybody, they made theirs brutality. Heroic.
The villains could also do. The DC villains could also do.
That's right. And Batman's heroic brutality though was awesome because he threw this sonic batarang into the enemy, and then bats swarmed and started attacking them.
Did anybody here play DC Universe Injustice: Gods Among Us?
I played a little bit of that. Yeah, my cousin had that game.
How was it? I know this is a random question, but it just reminded me of it. How was it? I never played it.
Did you ever play Mortal Kombat 9 or like the last Mortal Kombat game?
I'm not a Mortal Kombat guy.
Okay, well, if you like Mortal
Kombat 9 was really good.
Yeah, if you like Mortal Kombat 9, then you'll like Injustice: Gods Among Us,
which tells me personally nothing.
Andres, was Mortal Kombat 9 the first time they've done that thing where you can have like tag team fights in a Mortal Kombat game?
I'm not sure about that though. I can't. Oh, wait. No, I think it was the Marvel vs. Capcom games. You know how you can switch between 2 or 3 characters depending on what game you're playing.
No, I know you can do that in those. I was saying was. Mortal Kombat. Because I know they had tag team matches.
I'm not sure about that because I haven't been following the Mortal Kombat series for a while. I've only played 1, 2, and 9.
That's another example of a fighting game I got bored with was Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Wow. Okay.
The only thing that I remember seeing the trailer that I was like the reason I bought it was holy shit Chris Redfield has shot the Hulk. I'm fucking man.
Like holy shit, it's Phoenix Wright, the Capcom lawyer.
I don't give a fuck about him. My only thing was Chris Redfield just shot the Hulk. I'm playing this game.
I really want them to make one more Godzilla fighting game to end all Godzilla fighting games, and this time, just give me all of the characters.
It's funny how a couple of people on Toho Nation, they were like, we want all of them. All the characters.
Didn't they get close in Unleashed or no?
I mean, I didn't play
the Wii version.
I guess.
I mean, I don't have to play as Shikairis, but I mean, all the other characters.
At least all the different Godzilla suits though should be playable.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I'm gonna look at the.
Yeah, Steven 67.
At least Save the Earth had like the 2 different Godzillas. They really should have had 3.
And Unleashed had Unleashed had a couple, didn't it?
Unleashed had 3. At least 3 Godzillas, but 2 of them. No, 94. Godzilla 54 were basically the same body but with a different head and different skin tone.
Oh, see, I would be fine as long as I have. I want a basic Showa one plus the 54 one, and then I want Heisei, and then I want all the different Millennium ones, including 2014.
Good luck trying to get that out of Simon Strange because he's always been against skins just for the sake of because he's always worked with budgeted titles that he would rather focus on making new monsters as opposed to new character models for skins.
My thing is, why not have both? Why not have my cake and eat it?
Because that costs money.
Yeah, man, why not?
But anyways, so yeah,
again, money is no issue. If you put it out, I will find the right person to rob to buy it. I mean,
you know what's funny? I wonder if how would this new Godzilla game be if they had a co-op where like you could play as like online co-op where one plays Legendary, one plays 90s Godzilla, and they're just like beating the shit out of like Anguirus or something.
Did you, David? Did you get to play as the Legendary Godzilla, or was it just the Heisei Godzilla?
No, just the default 90s Godzilla. And you guys seen the cover for the North American Godzilla?
Yeah.
Doesn't the head look like Godzilla Raids Again Godzilla? With
yeah,
the body of Godzilla 90s?
I thought the same fucking thing. That's so weird. Yeah, I did think that. It looked like a different design. I do think it's really cool though, color-wise.
Mm-hmm. Like, black and white always tends to work very well with Godzilla in everything.
Yeah, the first time we saw the fully rendered Legendary Godzilla was in black and white, and I thought that was cool.
Oh,
the original.
You talking about that Empire cover, or?
Yeah. I think that was the first time we saw the full design.
Yeah.
Not just pieces of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was cool.
I think actually the first time we saw the full design was the leaked toy.
Oh yeah.
No, but that was in pieces though.
No,
I mean like the one that's like it's a CG rendered.
That was the moment when I was like, what about those feet though?
No, true, but I'm just saying like in terms. Well, we didn't even see the feet in the Empire cover. I'm just saying like this is an official, fully CG rendered Godzilla. So that was what I was saying. But anyway,
David, is King Ghidorah as hard as everyone is on Facebook is saying?
Yeah, difficult.
I haven't played Ghidorah. The thing is with the demo, every time you do play the demo, the computer kind of randomizes the monster. So you get like I got the first time I Mechagodzilla 74 and Mothra. The second time I played it, I got Hedorah and Mothra Larva. So it really depends on the computer, actually.
Mm. And how does Hedorah look like now that we finally apparently a new video game version of him?
Hedorah is the one design that I was actually impressed by because it's the one kaiju that you didn't even play it at all in the Simon Strange games.
Right, because he said...
This is his first video game appearance, I believe.
Well, no, he did appear in some games on the Turbo Duo.
He was in that awful Game Boy game.
And that too. Simon Strange always avoided Hedorah because he didn't know how to like translate that sort of like liquid character into like a 3D CG model with the technology he had at his disposal.
Well, they did it perfectly right here because the way Hedorah moves is so fluid, and this is a PS3. I can't imagine on the PS4, which is a higher frame rate than the PS3.
Mm.
That's why I've always said that Hedorah needs to be done in CG.
Absolutely.
Of that right there.
Mm.
Well, hang on. Let me. I didn't get to ask this before, but now that you just mentioned the PS4 again, I know you guys were talking about this a little bit before. But do you guys think we might have a reverse issue here with the game coming out on a last gen console and a next gen console, where maybe the PS3 version will look better and play better, and the PS4 version will be kind of rushed?
Yeah, I think so, because I think the PS4 will simply be an upscaled version of the PS3, as opposed to being like a completely redesigned one. Kind of like how they take like the PS2 classics and make and port them to the PS3 as like, you know, like this is like the Sly Cooper, this is like the Devil May Cry collection, or
they did Ratchet and Clank, and the only one they didn't release was Deadlocked, which is the only one I wanted to play.
Yeah, where they just like upscale them and make it look nicer and run at a better frame rate, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but my whole thing is like, just put the fucking game. Don't worry about the graphics. Just put the fucking game out so I can play it, because you don't have any fucking backwards compatibility, you stupid fucks.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get this for PS3.
The Godzilla game?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't thought, because I'm going to have a PS4 by that point. I don't know yet.
You only have a PS3, Andres.
Well, yeah, exactly. So
you don't have a fucking choice.
Like if this was like
it's a PlayStation exclusive.
If this was a PlayStation 4 exclusive, then I would get a PS4 for this.
Well, my whole joke was when this was first announced, I was like, yes, they're going to put the only Godzilla game in recent memory out on the one console I own. And then this announcement came out, and I'm getting a PS4 this month, so I was like, now I have nothing to gloat about. But Andres, does anybody else have anything to say about this? Adam, you've been quiet.
Well, because he's not interested in the game.
Oh, okay.
He's alive. Yes. Oh.
So let's move on then.
Okay.
What's next, bro?
So we got two Marvel casting news where it has been announced that Ryan Reynolds will return to play Deadpool for the Deadpool movie, which will be released on February 12th, 2016.
Oh, I wasn't going yes over that. I was going yes over the other thing.
And the other thing...
I'm okay with that because Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool is not the problem with that movie. In fact, that's actually a pretty good idea casting wise.
And he did do the voice of Deadpool in that concept trailer that was leaked around Comic-Con weekend.
Which is the reason why this movie is happening.
Yeah.
It's just the way they done fucked up in the movie.
So yeah, that's news. And the other casting news is that Benedict Cumberbatch will be playing Doctor Strange in the 2016 Doctor Strange movie.
Yes.
Is he going to grow the appropriate facial hair?
I don't care. He's going to be amazing. Shut up, Dylan.
No, he has to have the facial hair.
No. Well, if he gets the hair he has in Sherlock, then it's going to be close enough. They just got to give him the gray in his hair and the goatee.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The appropriate facial hair, Bill. I don't give a fuck about his locks.
his thick, wavy locks. This might be the greatest thing ever, because what they keep doing with these Marvel movies that I love is they're taking these characters that not a lot of people know about and not a lot of people care about, and they're putting really good actors as them and making you care. Like that's what they did with Guardians, and even the original Iron Man movie kind of did this.
Yeah,
so that's why I'm really happy.
Although strangely enough, like
before Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man was one of those superheroes that only the comic geeks cared anything about. And now he's like one of the biggest superheroes ever.
Another interesting thing is when it comes to their casting, like before it seemed like Marvel Studios would prefer to make stars as opposed to hire stars because it would be cheaper for them. I think, other than like Benedict Cumberbatch, has there been any time previously besides Samuel Jackson where they got like a really well-known name that would most likely call for like the big bucks?
I mean, Robert Downey Jr. was already a name.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it was Iron Man that really brought him back into like the.
He was really, really washed up before that. I mean, he did one movie previously.
What the hell was Mark Ruffalo in before?
He was in The Kids Are All Right.
He was kind of a.
movie.
He was kind of he was kind of an indie actor before that, and then it was the first time I ever heard of him was when he was cast as the Hulk. But I mean, Scarlett Johansson was a name prior to that, so I don't think she was missed by those movies.
The guy who played Hawkeye had done The Hurt Locker.
Jeremy Renner was made by Hawkeye, in my own opinion.
No. Are you kidding me? He got fame for The Hurt Locker.
Yeah, that movie like won Oscars and shit, didn't it?
That movie's amazing.
I guess the Town was kind of like his continuation too, because he was in that movie as well, and that movie got a lot of buzz.
Hurt Locker was very acclaimed. Yeah,
but I didn't even know who he was prior to.
I didn't know he was in The Hurt Locker until I heard that, and then I was like, oh, okay, he's in that movie.
That's my thing. I mean, I knew what The Hurt Locker was, but I didn't know he was in it. But anyway, I'm trying to think. I mean, Edward Norton and Hulk, but of course he didn't come back, so.
Yeah, I think, was it because like he always, kind of like, much like with, American History X, he gave a lot of his own personal input on the script and the making of the movie.
Yeah, that was the reason why he didn't come back.
And he was like, hey, listen, dude, shut up and read your lines, okay? That's what you're hired here to do.
But I think that movie would have been significantly more interesting if they had done what he wanted, because he wanted to do more character stuff. And that movie's fun, but the biggest problem with it is that it's kind of shallow in terms of its interpretation of Bruce Banner. So I kind of wish that he would have had more input on the script and on the events of the film. But it's kind of interesting because in Iron Man 2. They kind of tried the same thing that they did with Robert Downey, where they tried to bring a washed-up star back into the fold with Mickey Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. There's a bunch of, in my opinion, there's a bunch of actors, but they're not the main superhero, is I think the point. Like, Don Cheadle was in the other two Iron Man movies. So
what was Don Cheadle known for before fucking Iron Man 2?
He was a lawyer in some TV show.
He was Will Smith's best friend, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Wait, what? Oh, no, it's not Jazz.
No, not Jazz. You see
Ty? Ty?
I forgot his name, but he was in the episode where Hillary tricked her parents that she got married to Will Smith's friend from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't Don Cheadle.
That was Don Cheadle.
Let me see. I'm gonna look this up. I don't believe you.
Now. Television. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as Ice Tray, episode 5.
Was she really?
Homeboy, Sweet Homeboy.
I didn't know that. Wow, I love that episode. I didn't know that was John Cheadle.
Oh, now you love the episode, Fat Bill.
Of course,
you know what?
Of course.
Yeah, fuck you.
Of course, now he's War Machine, and even more impressively, he's Captain Planet. So.
Yeah.
Captain Planet.
He's a hero.
He's just Captain Planet.
He's motherfucking Captain Planet. But yeah. I'm really excited about this. I care about this movie now because of Benedict Cumberbatch.
Right. I've seen the character throughout my whole life, but to be honest, never really cared for him. But
I remember him from the Spider-Man cartoon. And I remember him being.
Here.
I remember being painfully bored when he was in it. I'm kind of glad that they're bringing him in.
I remember him showing up for some reason to help Spider-Man fight Carnage, and I was like, what does Carnage need?
Yeah, it was that episode is bizarre because
he's like, hey man, have you seen? I know the Lord of the Rings movies haven't come out, but have you read Lord of the Rings? You know how awesome Gandalf was as a magician? Well, I'm magic, motherfucker. You're gonna need me.
It was a weird episode where like Carnage was working for Baron Mordo or something. It was weird.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know, but when I read Lord of the Rings, I'm pretty sure Gimli and Legolas were giving each other blowjobs all the time. So
I'm confident that was in there. So we're gonna have to have a scene where Doctor Strange blows Baron Mordo.
that was my takeaway. No, Bill, it has to be somebody comparable to Legolas. It has to be Doctor Strange blowing fucking.
So Peter Parker.
Doctor Strange giving Thor a blowjob. That's what it has.
Every time I hear you guys saying Doctor Strange, I can't help but think of the German from Doctor Strangelove.
No, I always think of fucking Hugo.
Wait, you know, like, then he like got magic to help like fix his hands. He's like, "Mein Führer, my hands work."
Do you
think that's right. The whole origin story for Doctor Strange was he's a surgeon whose hands got fucked up, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to go to this magic guy and see if he can fix my hands."
Question though, are they going to do his origin in the movie? Because he's clearly established in Captain America 2 because they say he's a threat. So they're going to have to like do some time warp stuff to do his origin.
Yeah,
right?
We need his origin on film. I mean, they could do flashbacks to it to establish who Baron Mordo is.
I disagree. I think that they need to do his origin.
I don't know. Like, haven't we gotten enough origin movies already? Like, can't we just say like?
The problem with origin stories is they very often.
Well, I like Doctor Strange's origin. I think it's really interesting. I would be mad if they didn't do it because I think it's really interesting. There's a really good character arc in there. I think
they should show it in flashback because that's also how you establish Baron Mordo as a character because his origin and Doctor Strange's origin are very tied together, where they were pupils of the same master. I mean, Mordo betrayed him and started working for Dormammu and shit.
The Hulk got away with not directly showing the
They
origin.
made a whole movie about it, though, already.
But it wasn't in canon.
No, it doesn't matter, though, Andres. They did a whole movie about the Hulk's origin previously, so their thought process was, everybody knows the Hulk's origin, so let's just do a Hulk movie without it. Nobody knows Doctor Strange's origin.
Everybody's seen the 70s show. We don't have to show his origin.
Well, that was the other thing, was like, you know, the Hulk even more than Doctor Strange. Not the Hulk was a huge name. No, that's not true at all. Because of the TV show, he was a huge name. But the comic book version was not hugely well known to the masses because the TV show was so different. So, I don't know. I just kind of want them to do it because I really like Doctor Strange's origin of, like, you've got this really conceited, kind of self-indulgent guy who loses the thing that makes him that way, and then he has to kind of rebuild himself into something bigger and better. I don't know. I think that I'd like to see that, especially Benedict Cumberbatch play that could be really cool.
Okay. Don't you think Doctor Strange's origin, and more specifically the character arc he goes through, is kind of similar to what they already did with Tony Stark?
Yeah,
I agree.
I was thinking of Tony Stark when you were describing that.
So to fix that, here's a weird parallel I might suggest if they decide not to do the origin. Has anybody here seen the '94 version of The Shadow?
I've been wanting to for the longest time.
I've seen it.
Where they open, I believe if I remember, they open with the Shadow in New York, and then they do little tidbits of his and strangely enough, his origin is very similar to Doctor Strange's origin. He goes to the Himalayas and learns magic, and then he comes back and he's a better guy. But if they did it that way, where you just get a glimpse at the asshole he was before he went to go see the Sorcerer Supreme, that might be really cool, and then he goes through some other struggle in the present. Maybe he reconsiders going back to that life or something. Might be kind of interesting. So that could be cool.
See fucking on screen.
Let me ask you guys a question. What do you think they're going to do tonally for this movie? Is it going to be more of like how do you think it's going to be toned compared to something? Because you kind of got these different quadrants of the Marvel movies. Like, say, the Hulk is kind of a monster movie. Guardians was a Star Wars-esque space adventure. The Avengers was a big, huge action alien invasion movie. All these different, Captain America 2 is a spy movie. Iron Man 3 is something else. Kind of corporate tycoon
It'll
stuff.
be more of Sherlock.
Maybe it'll be more like Thor, because it's all magic and stuff, and maybe it'll treat it like that, like a fantasy movie.
Do you guys watch Angel at all? The Buffy the Vampire Slayer spinoff?
The difference, though, Andres, is I think you can pull off a serious Doctor Strange movie. I don't think you can really do that with Thor. I mean,
why not?
In terms of Especially in terms of like the first movie, because you have to introduce people to this whole like fantastical world. Doctor Strange is kind of a different thing.
Okay. Well, I think you can do a more down to earth Doctor Strange movie than you can a Thor movie, even though they tried that and it didn't really work. I just mentioned Angel, and I think that would be a really good kind of like tone to base it on for a Doctor Strange movie, where it's just kind of this semi-gritty detective drama with all this over-the-top supernatural stuff in the background. Because I really love Angel, and that's what it's like. And
yeah, I can get behind that.
But it doesn't take itself too seriously, though. It's very, very, high-spirited and very, very fun and very, very adventurous. It just happens to be very, very dark. And I think that would be a great tone for Doctor Strange. Well, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know enough about Doctor Strange is the thing. Like, I don't know, because it's like, a lot of these superheroes, it's like, it really depends on what their issue-to-issue status quo is like, and it's like, obviously Doctor Strange isn't going to be like, there's a terrorist attempting to blow up the Empire State. That's not what Doctor Strange is going to do.
Doctor Strange fights more like interdimensional demon type things, like Dormammu.
Right.
He's tangled with Mephisto on occasion.
So that's probably why it would be more like Angel, where it's like it's kind of in the shadows and it's all this apocalyptic, low-key kind of stuff.
If they can do what the Ghost Rider movies tried to do, but make it good.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. Cool. I don't know. We're getting pretty far in. So Andreas, What else you got?
I got one more news story concerning the casting for the Suicide Squad movie.
That's right.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad movie, a movie based where you have like a bunch of imprisoned supervillains that are given the chance to work for the government in order to have their sentences shortened. And
they did a similar thing in the Marvel universe, where a team of supervillains turned good, and I really want to know which one did it first.
I think it's called Villains for Hire. And DC did it first by a long shot. Because Marvel has a similar thing with Heroes for Hire, which is Luke Cage.
Iron Fist. What I'm saying is, Marvel had this team of supervillains who reformed. I think they're called the Thunder something. Originally, they were constructed. Yeah, originally they were created as this plot by Baron Zemo. Originally they were constructed just as this plot by Baron Zemo to get at the Avengers, but eventually they actually turned. They turned good for real.
And weren't they led by the Red Hulk, General Ross?
No,
because his first name is Thunderbolt Ross.
No, they've been around way longer than that. I mean, they might be now.
Recently, haven't they been?
I don't really keep up with the universe anymore.
No, that makes me wonder, like, for future Captain America movies, if they did bring Zemo into the Marvel universe, I wonder if they
better give him that fucking costume.
Yeah, I wanted to see him, like, dress up, like, that purple pimpin' costume with the yellow crown.
I mean, look how the Collector is dressed.
Yeah.
Baron Zemo is fucking awesome.
Yeah, Baron Zemo's a bad. I think they're bringing him into Captain America 3, though. I remember him being cast, if I'm not mistaken.
He needs to have, like, pimp music. He needs to have the fucking Superfly thing.
Okay, so let's see. We have how do you pronounce this? Cara Delevingne as Enchantress, Jai Courtney as Boomerang, Margot Robbie.
That name sounds familiar. Who is that motherfucker?
Jai Courtney. I forgot, but I'll look back to that in a second. Margot.
Jai Courtney. We were talking about him earlier.
Who is he?
He's playing Thompson Genesis.
He's Kyle Reese.
You guys realize what this means, you guys?
Does it
We're gonna have
Amanda
Waller. Amanda Waller's gonna be in this movie.
Yeah.
She was.
Oh yay! Oh my God!
But to be fair,
I'm so happy.
this is not the first time she will have been in a live-action DC movie, though. She was briefly in Green Lantern.
Well, who gives a fuck about that movie?
I'm just saying.
Was she really? Will Smith is dead.
Very briefly.
We have we got Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Tom Hardy as Rick Flag, Will Smith as Deadshot, and Jared Leto as the Joker.
Tom Hardy is in. That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
That is really fucking weird.
Will Smith is Deadshot.
Yeah.
That is interesting casting.
I guess it's better than Ultra Smith, but...
No, I would have preferred that. We're saving that for Ultra Andres.
I don't know.
Andres, I'm telling you, I'm going to make the Godzilla 98 of Ultraman movies with you as Ultraman. It's going to happen.
Apparently there's a rumor that Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor might be in the movie.
Well, that's not a rumor, that's a fact.
Well,
Is it really? Well, on IMDb it says rumored, so...
I thought we were talking about Dawn of Justice.
No,
we're talking about Suicide Squad, yeah.
But in the description on IMDb, it clearly says a secret government agency run by Amanda Waller. I want to know who's going to play Amanda Waller in this movie.
Oh, is she not cast?
Oprah.
Oh yeah, there were like rumors that Oprah was going to Miller.
Oprah,
are you
get a superhero
kidding?
team, and you get a superhero team.
That might be the worst, best decision ever.
Well, didn't she get like an Oscar or something for like The Color Purple?
Two things though. If the movie's awesome, great. But if the movie sucks, then we'll have a shitty Suicide Squad movie with Oprah Winfrey in it.
Okay, so Oprah Winfrey
This
is...
will go down
from
in history as like one of the greatest bad movies ever made, because it'll be like, you remember the Suicide Squad movie they made with Oprah Winfrey?
If we're gonna have an actress from The Color Purple, I'd rather have fucking Whoopi Goldberg than Oprah Winfrey.
Whoopi Goldberg would be an awesome Amanda Waller.
So yeah, Oprah Winfrey, I guess she's currently the studio. She's in consideration by the studio.
Is it sad that I don't know enough older black women actresses that I can't cast?
I think they got to play her in Green Lantern was pretty good, so I wouldn't mind if she came back. Not that they would, given that movie.
They could always bring in Pam Grier.
No, I don't know. I have no idea who Rick Flag is, but I just want Tom Hardy to just play Bane again.
Rick Flag. That's the character he's playing?
Yeah.
Where's my fucking phone? I'm going to look this up. But there's two that really concern me, which is Will Smith as Deadshot and Jared Leto as the Joker. I didn't even know the Joker was going to be in this movie.
Uh-huh.
But also, didn't they also say that they definitely weren't doing Harley Quinn? Like, recently?
I guess they changed their mind. You're like, what, are you fucking crazy? We gotta put the Joker in there and Harley Quinn.
I hate
gives a fuck about. You cut out.
I hate when DC does this shit. I googled Rick Flag, you know what it tells me? Rick Flag is the name of 3 different fictional characters in the DC universe. They do that shit all the time. Do you know how many Clayfaces there are?
Like 4 or 5?
But apparently the 3 Rick Flags are father, son, and grandson, so I guess that makes a little bit more sense.
Alright, well then, who are they, though?
The father, Richard Flag, was in the original Suicide Squad, a World War II unit. After the war, he was a member of Task Force X.
Oh, okay, because I remember, like, on Facebook, Jeff Zornow talked about how much of a fan he was of the original Suicide Squad, which wasn't a team of supervillains, but it was just like, just a bunch of random, I guess, World War II people.
It was basically the Howling Commandos, but for DC.
Yeah.
The son, Rick Flag Jr., was a member of the Forgotten Heroes and led 2 different incarnations of the Suicide Squad.
Rick Flag Jr. was also in Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, really?
Apparently they're just like, I don't even know if they have superpowers. I think they're just fucking Aries.
Does anybody on the comic book Suicide Squad team have superpowers?
The only thing I know about the Suicide Squad is from the recent movie that came out the recent animated movie that came out this year, and I guess
Assault on Arkham. Yeah.
Assault on Arkham, yeah.
Which I haven't seen yet. Adam,
I highly recommend it. Yeah.
I mean, does the Enchantress have superpowers? She's got to have superpowers. Her name's the fucking Enchantress.
She's called the Enchantress. She's got to have some kind of superpowers.
Yeah.
I need to look her up because there's also a character named Enchantress in Marvel, and I always get
Yeah. She's blonde with green.
Which they strangely haven't put in the movies yet, and she's a really big deal in the comics.
Yeah.
She's a huge Thor villain. They should put her in the next movie. Her and that big guy with the axe that fawns over her.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the Enchantress is also in love with Thor and fights Lady Sif over him. Which would be kind of weird, though, because that's kind of what's going on between Natalie Portman's character and
Sif?
Lady Sif in the Thor movie, so it's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
You just have like an entire movie. No, here's what you do. In the movie, Lady Smith...
Kind of a love square.
In the movie, Lady Smith and Natalie Portman have to come to terms with each other because they're faced by the common threat of the Enchantress.
The super bitch.
The super
right.
bitch.
Right. Right.
And then add Cersei, just for good measure.
But let's talk about the big one though, because we're kind of running out of time a little bit. Jared Leto was the Joker. What are you guys' thoughts? I heard this was rumored a long time ago, by the way.
Who the hell is Jared Leto? What's his
name? Everybody seems to act like he's like a really big deal, and he's like a really...
Yeah, but I don't know what the fuck he's
from. He's the lead singer from 30 Seconds to Mars. He played one of the main characters in the film Requiem for a Dream. He plays Alexander's gay lover on Alexander.
Mm-hmm. Apparently he's in Fight Club.
Oh, that's the guy, the white-haired guy in Fight Club?
It says he was in Fight Club. Oh. He's in American Psycho? Who was he in American Psycho?
Thanks, Victoria. Right now my sister was like, yes, he's the guy from Fight Club.
I want to know who the fuck he was in American Psycho. Who is he?
He's the guy with... Oh, I find him really attractive. Okay.
He looks like Jesus.
He does look
like Jesus.
He should play Jesus. Why isn't he playing Jesus?
Yeah, why isn't Jared... Let's see if Jared Leto has played Jesus.
Oh my God. Jack. He's the guy in American Psycho that Christian Bale killed with the axe.
Oh.
No, but somebody compared him...
Oh my God.
He did the buddy Christ pose from Dogma, though.
He was the guy who had the best business card and got killed for it. All because he could get a reservation at Dorsia.
So many people have photoshopped his head on Jesus. There's so many pictures of his head photoshopped on Jesus.
There's so much Jared Leto Jesus.
Next summer, Jared Leto is Jesus playing Joker.
There's a whole page called Jared Leto Totally Looks Like Jesus.
They should cast him in the next Jesus
Tumblr
movie.
page.
Quentin Tarantino should make a Jesus movie, call it Jesus Frost, and capture it.
That's like perfect.
The greatest Jesus movie since Jesus
Jared
Christ,
Leto
Vampire Hunter.
Looks like Jesus.
Suicide Squad, starring that guy who looks like Jesus as the Joker.
You guys ever see that old ass fucking sketch they did on Mad TV, where it was it was before Terminator 3 came out, and it was Stewart as Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was the Terminator goes back to the time of Jesus to protect him from getting crossed.
Yes.
It's fucking the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Jesus is because shooting Judas.
Stop shooting Judas!
Jesus keeps referring.
Give me that thing. And then there's this line where he's like, they're going to find you and crucify you. I know. What are you, a glutton for punishment?
Oh, Jared Leto would play good Dick Grayson.
No. I don't know. I don't know the dudes, but I'm hoping he'll be.
I saw a side-by-side picture. Somebody said Dick Grayson, like him and Dick Grayson. And I was like, oh, that looks pretty cool. But then I looked at other pictures, like, no.
Well, we know that they're doing Carrie. We know that they're doing Carrie Kelly in Dawn of Justice, though. So
yeah,
who knows?
I personally think I would play a magnificent
Carrie Kelly.
I would be a great Carrie Kelly.
I would be a great Carrie Kelly.
I should probably mention the fact that I can't take credit for the Jesus uncrossed joke. I stole it from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, I think everybody knew that.
Except in that, he was played by Christoph Waltz.
I don't think anybody was like, "Oh, Dylan is such a genius for coming up with that joke."
Damn it, Bill! I made Popo on a bridge. Don't fuck with me.
That's true. You did make Popo on a bridge, which is genius.
And I had this great idea when I was watching the Terminator Genesis trailer to, like, have future Trunks come back and, like, the timeline's all fucked up. It's like, I came back to warn us about the androids. We know, but everything's changed. And then you just see fucking Dr. Giro and then fucking Android 17's like, they're like, I've been waiting for you.
He's got a long beard. But But anyway, let's wrap this up, boys. We're pretty far in. Does anybody have any announcements before we go?
I do.
Go ahead, sir.
One, the thing that I was screaming about I hope he didn't die and he turned out to live, was Jean from Attack on Titan. I was reading the manga. And then the other thing, do like the Godzilla saga on Facebook. We just reached 110 likes, so thank you very much for that. And like AM Productions on Facebook. We're looking at making my new film. Of course, I'm saying this very loosely. However, I really want to get this one off the ground. My new film, I will release the title of it. The film is going to be called Which Way They Walk. And do expect that. Also, do expect to hear more about that. And the final thing I want to promote is do go to Chopper Pilot 5. One of the last times I'll ever say that. And watch my new short film, The Watermark, which has been called Bizarre.
Among other things.
Among other things.
Now,
Including the next Citizen Kane.
I have not seen it yet, but I have heard things from our group of friends that it is fucked up.
You're a terrible friend, Bill.
I've been busy, man.
Doing what?
You're so selfish, man.
I was so
running
stoned
around down the street saying that you've never lived in the past and in the future, but you've never lived in the present, and then you try to take off your pants and you pour like vodka all over somebody, and then all of a sudden you start screaming, "Oh hey, I need to regenerate."
These are all leaked scenes. These are all leaked scenes, by the way, from Adam's new film.
Hashtag true story.
Hashtag rehash.
But anyway, Adam, anything else, or is that it?
Yes. The final thing I want to say is that there are semen on Cruz's back.
Okay.
Wait, the semen on whose back?
Gimmle.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Tom Cruise. I was like, what? Where the fuck did that come from?
Tom Cruise.
Didn't really. Wait, who's?
I'm so lost. Who else has got things to announce? Anybody?
I recently uploaded episode 14 of Shoe Watch Super Dynamic Ultra Force Go, and we just recorded yesterday episode 15, where
your guys' 1 year anniversary is coming up soon too, right?
Yeah, it's next month. And in the 14 we kind of sort of celebrated our pseudo 1 year anniversary because it was like the 1 year anniversary of episode 9 of SOS, which was
the pilot.
Yeah, it was like the what do you call it, the backdoor pilot.
Backdoor pilot, yeah.
Backdoor pilot.
For Shoe Watch. And then so 15 we brought back Jacob Baker to just shoot the shit with. It was just like Gorzard, Dave, Jacob and I, and then stay tuned for my review with Deadpoolzilla for Godzilla, the Half Century War comic. And
whoa, when did you two meet?
About a month or two ago.
Was I there?
No. What? No.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know you knew Deadpoolzilla.
Yeah, he friended he friended me out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hey, do you know who I am?" I was like, no. Have we met before?" He's like, "No, I'm Deadpoolzilla." Oh, okay.
Who's Deadpoolzilla?
He's a friend of mine.
Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, you want to do a review together?" I'm like, "Sure." And so we ended up reviewing Half Century War.
Oh, this is one of those a lot more subscribers than me, so I apologize, Deadpoolzilla, whoever you are. I'm really sorry.
It's weird when there are when two friends from like two different circles of friends have meet and I don't know about it. It was a weird. I was like, how the fuck do you know?
to quote the 11th Doctor, I know.
So it's like when I met you and Adam kind of simultaneously. There was this weird sort of synergy going on.
And one last announcement: there's a YouTuber by the name of MJ Knight who does couple movie reviews, and I will be part of series of kind of like a end of year anniversary recap where me, him, and several other YouTubers are going to be discussing just talking about films over the last 5 films from the last year from this past year. I've done so with him last year. If you want to check that out, I think it was called like end of MJ Nights, like end of year panel 2013, I guess.
Evangelion.
And so we'll be doing that very soon, and so, yeah, check it out.
And then he's going to do the exact same thing on the SOS New Year's special, making that completely pointless. Thanks, Andres.
We pretty much just, with
Andres,
SOS, we don't really go over, hold on, sorry, Adam. We don't really go over, like, movies, or, like, okay, I went over movies, but I'll try to stay focused on just, like, pop cultural events.
Andres, I was kidding. It's fine. I'm just joking. I'm just busting your ball.
God damn it, Fat Bill.
Shut up, Skinny Dave, and go fucking inject fry oil into your veins.
Is his name now Skinny Dave? It doesn't really seem like you're insulting
We're
him.
gonna form a band called Fat Bill and Skinny Dave. We're gonna make wonders.
Fat Bill, and
Fat Bill and Skinny
No.
Dave,
Remember,
White Castle.
we established this before. It's the ghostly adventures of Fat Bill and Dead Dave.
Oh, why is he dead?
I don't know.
Why can't I be dead, Fat Bill?
Because David. No, hold on. It was because David wasn't here, and we said, "Oh, he is here. He's just dead."
That was a long time ago, Andre. That was like 2 months ago.
that's
Way
not
to
that
bring it
long
back.
ago in SOS history.
I know, but I have short-term memory loss.
For our audience, that's like 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Yeah, if somebody is listening to this like in years from now in order, it's not that long ago. But for our audience listening to it currently, it's been a long time.
It's been a while.
Wow. David and Dylan, do you two have anything to announce?
I mean, I announced it. I announced it on fucking DFI, but the review that we did of DBZ Battle Gods is up. So you can watch that, and I'm hoping to actually come back to producing Kaiju Spotlight now.
Stay tuned for Dylan and I's trilogy review. We reviewed the Daimajin trilogy, and are you still good at reviewing that tomorrow?
Yeah.
Are you gonna watch it?
What? Fucking
What?
Are you gonna watch the third Daimajin movie so we can have a really good conversation? Since that's my favorite one. Spoiler alert.
Yes, that is the plan. It is in the cards.
He's totally not gonna watch it. He's gonna.
Adam, as somebody who works with him on a weekly basis, you're fucked.
I am fucked.
From one fan of the Ten Commandments to another, it has been written, and so it shall be done.
Oh, good. Okay.
David, anything?
Oh,
Not a damn thing.
what happened to Talking Toku? You uploaded the first part, and then nothing happened after that.
Oh, that. Well, I'm still getting on it.
I thought you finished it. I thought you finished it all by now, and you decided to cut it up in parts.
No.
Andre, the first 2 episodes of Gorzar Presents were separated by a year. You can't expect anything from him.
And then that show
And
just kind
also,
of
did you guys ever do your top 15 favorite Godzilla films, or no?
Yes, we did.
And is it uploaded? Is it finished?
It's not finished. No.
David, to use a line of yours and to use it right back at you. God damn it!
Hey,
Fat Dave.
Andres,
Fat
while
Dave.
we're
Why
on
am
the
I
subject,
fat?
Because you work at McDonald's.
You work at McDonald's and you're lazy. You're Fat Dave.
Because you're fat.
Andres,
You have diabetes.
while we're on the subject of things that we need to finish, how's your top 10 giant robots list coming?
It's a coming. It's coming. At least I'm still putting out other content in the meantime.
I finished. Congratulations, damn it.
Who's that talking shit about?
Not me, I just uploaded something.
There are massive rifts forming between the SOS members right now. The spaces are getting wider. We're all starting to blame each other for each other's problems.
Well, welcome to the Comedy Central roast of Fat Bill.
Oh, why is this on me all of a sudden? This is on Fat Dave.
Because you work at an ice cream store.
Every fucking episode of SOS is a roast of me.
Bill, if we ever do a roast on you, it's gonna be unnecessary because we would have.
You guys have done 32 roasts on me.
We would have produced the SOS.
And that's not even counting the episodes of Shoe Watch.
Oh yeah, okay, never mind. You guys have done like 55.
Oh my god, we dare Bill a new one on Shoe Watch.
There's this great moment in the last episode of DFOS where Bill tried to compare himself to Batman, and I'm like, Bill, you have no mansion, no butler, no skills.
When did I try to compare myself to Batman? Oh, that's right. Oh, I remember this now.
God damn it, Bill.
It wasn't
Like,
so much.
obviously, you don't have a good memory.
And then I was like, you're closer to Spider-Man than you are Batman, and he had to think about that for a moment to figure out why.
I don't remember this at all.
That is why you failed, Bill.
I think it was.
I drank away the last 48 hours of my memory.
I think it was on recording. It might have been after. I don't fucking know.
No, I think it was. I vaguely remember comparing myself to Batman. I don't remember anything after that.
Because you said you brooded on a rooftop, and I was like, that doesn't mean anything. Lots of superheroes brood on rooftops. Fucking Spider-Man broods on a rooftop.
Yeah, I have to edit that tomorrow, so we'll see what happens. Anyway,
You know who broods on rooftops?
Who does?
Godzilla.
Yeah, he broods on top of smashed rooftops. I only have one thing to announce.
You throw in that
entire-
Skreelok really quickly at the end of it. My birds are dead, Skreelok.
That was
My entire species is extinct. Fuck you, Batman.
I only have one thing to announce, and is that I am going to be uploading.
Finally.
Dave, shut up. Go inject fry oil. I am going to be uploading the Q&A, the any questions Q&A video in the next week to build up to my annual Q&A that I like to do, which will be in the first week of Christmas vacation. We're going to do it live like we always do. That video will go up in the next week, and you guys can post your questions there. We'll be doing it in the same way as always. Any questions that are asked on that video will be the first ones that I address, and then we'll do live questions after that. So if you want to have your questions answered, sooner rather than later, I would suggest go writing them there, and I'll get to them, in the order that they're written. Or if you don't care, you can just wait until we do the live show. So go ahead and ask your questions there. That video will be up soon, and the Q&A itself will take place the first week of Christmas vacation. Probably before Christmas, so look out for that coming soon. But that's really it from me. So I think that's what, Dave? What?
Here's the first question you got to answer. When did you get fat?
You can track that through the history of my video.
Yep, we're returning.
Say 2008.
I know for me it was right around 50.
For me, it was right around birth. So that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Sons of Serizawa podcast. As always, I'm Bill Worcester, a.k.a. Zazubaar.
I'm Gorzard. And Bill, I'm almost tempted to buy you a burger.
You don't have
I'm
to
John Landis.
Ask me why, Bill!
Why?
Did he just say he's John Landis?
God damn it, let's just wrap this thing up.
And I'm Andres Perez, and ladies and gentlemen, that is sadly the way it's been.
And as always, this podcast is a complete fucking mess. But the science is down. Good night.
One of these days.